much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. Echo Base Network. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens.
Well, here we are again tonight. And yes, I played the old intro because, you know why? Because I can do that. I can do that. So great to see everyone here again. Wow, Saturday night. Where else will we be? Right here, EBN Live. So great to see you. Don't worry, it's not just me. We have other people here. Nick will be with us. Derek is back again. He keeps coming back. God bless him. God bless him for doing that. So good to see Derek as always. And so good to see all of y'all. I didn't do it. You know, Coach is always typing. I can see it behind the scenes. Coach always typing. Who's here? Who's here? He's typing. I didn't do it. So great to see everyone here tonight in the chat. Wonderful. Let's do the usual housekeeping. So great again for all of us to be here together. Let's look at where is it? Here we go. 4 ways. It's always 4 ways to support us here at the channel. Number 1, membership. If you feel so inclined, find that join button. Do it. As the emperor used to tell us. If you want to, that's fine. It's not required. We'd love for you to do that. Look on Patreon. All kinds of great things happening there on Patreon. One Piece, all the One Piece stuff is coming. They're still looking at it. Go there on Patreon, $5 a month. You will not be disappointed. The merch store, coming soon. Coach is doing more things than just Star Wars. Can you imagine? More things than Star Wars. Okay, he's doing it. He's doing it there on those shirt styles and everything else that you love. Perfect. And then super chats. Never required, always appreciated. Well, I'm going to try. I'm standing in for Coach. They're doing all kinds of great family stuff tonight. So I am going to try and highlight. And Nick is here. He'll help me. He always does that. We're going to highlight your chats. Love to have you here. Again, super chats. If you're so inclined, we do appreciate that. All right. So here we go. Oh, maybe Nick's not ready yet. So let me do. I don't know. He may be ready. He may not. Okay. So let's go and do a couple of things that have happened here since we've started. My goodness, you all are always so gracious. Rogue Sarge is here with us. Good to see you, Bobby. Hope you're doing well. Good evening, everyone at EBN for $20. Good evening to you as well. All right. GraphWeb, $2. He's editorializing now. That's great. For the good Lord's sake, he says, hashtag cancel Disney Plus. GraphWeb, thank you for being here each and every week. We love you. Appreciate it so much. Debbie Young, our mama bear, gifting 5 Echo Base Network memberships. Thank you for that, Debbie. And thank you for all of our new members for accepting those. Remember, you can tinker with your YouTube settings if you want to accept those memberships. And then I honestly don't know how YouTube figures it out. Somehow it figures it out, but you have to turn it on, tinker with it, and then do your thing there. Debbie, thank you so much for that. All right. Donna Hergenrather. Oh, another great supporter of the channel. Member for 19 months. Wow, how does time fly? Wonderful night to be with my favorite community. Don't forget to hit the like button. Have a great show, EBN. Yes, do the YouTube things. I can always say do the YouTube things. Okay, the like, the subscribe. Yes, do it. Oh, you don't like it? Okay, thumbs down works too, but we hope you like it. And we really appreciate that so much. So for those super chats, and for the members, let me do the videos. All right, here we go. Appreciate it so much. This super chat video is for you all. Okay, awesome. And I'm going to do one more. For all our new members. Welcome to the member family. Let's play this one. Great to have you all here.
Let it snow. Welcome to the party, pal. Turn up the heat and it's getting ready to pop.
I love those. I love all the things they've done with the new videos. So let's keep going. Look, he's here. He's ready. Let's bring him on. Here, I'm going to play the new one. Again, I played the old one. Okay, fine. I'll play the new one. It's so good to see you all again. Here we go.
What is going on, EBN? Nick is in the house. What is up?
You're looking so crispy, by the way. This new computer and everything is looking so good.
Yeah,
so good.
I just got a haircut yesterday.
Yeah, you had all that long hair. You had all long hair. Oh gosh, almighty.
It's a mess right now, but
look,
it's cut. It's cut. under the hat that I always wear. Got a little trimmed up a little bit. Yeah.
You know me, I'm always enamored with anyone who can grow hair. So I
Yeah.
think it always looks so very good. So very good. So I hope your week was amazing. Everything's going well?
Had a little crazy drama stuff in personal life going on last night that was interesting.
Oh no.
You don't know anything. Coach knows about it. I'll tell you after. I'll tell you about it.
Okay. I'm not trying to call you out here on the stream. It was just a genuine.
Yeah.
Love to see you here.
No, it's a long story, but yeah, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to tonight's show, man.
Yes, it's
It'll be
going
fun.
to be amazing. And by the way, let's bring in our other panelist. Of course, you know him, you love him. He keeps coming back, Nick. Why do you think that is?
Man, I don't know. If I was him, I would have been like, man, forget y'all. I would have never came back. But he's crazy like we are. So
this is a tough sell. It's a tough sell, right? All right, but he's here. Derek's here. He's laughing backstage. Here he is. Good to see you.
What are y'all talking about, man? I love you guys, man. This place is great.
Well, we gotta have the token black guy on here, you know.
Oh, there you go, man. You gotta have the token black guy here, right?
Derek, I hope you're well. Great to see you as
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. No drama in my personal life, thank goodness. So hopefully everything is good with you, Nick. But
no, everything's good. It's a funny story. I mean, I don't mind sharing it. I'm not gonna share it publicly. But I'll tell you guys after stream.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't wait for the after stream. I want to hear all.
Man, like hurry up!
Yeah, it's pretty funny. You guys will get a good laugh out of it. Yep. All I gotta say is, and Derek probably knows what I'm talking about. BBC.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So again, we're gonna try and highlight Dia has great content. People are loving.
Thank you, Rose.
Right? You know
Thank
that.
you, Rose Sarge. I appreciate that. Thank you.
What is let me look. What is Darth Hying saying? Oh, one. You're the best. That's a great one. I was like, maybe I want to highlight that, but it would look good. It looked good. Everything is very, very good. Very good. And so, Ghost Rider. No, it's not Rossman. It's not Rossman. It's not Rossman. But Ghost Rider, we would love to have you stay, but if you need to go, you know where the exit is. That's fine. That's fine.
The eye is
highlighted that. You highlighted that. That wasn't me.
Yeah, I did. I highlighted it. Good to see you, Ghost Rider. Good to see you.
Ghost Rider, all kidding aside, thanks for coming back. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man, I missed you. Ghost Rider always has some good commenting in the chat. During
he certainly has an opinion, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
And so here's what's going to happen tonight. So we have the topics, right? We have topics. We do have some Star Wars topics tonight. Okay, it's all right. It's fine.
Yeah,
we'll be good.
Yeah, just so everybody in chat knows, we're not ever doing Star Wars again. It's just gonna be. We're just not gonna be a Star Wars only channel now, and we're not gonna just do Star Wars topics all the time because there's other things that we can crap on other than Star Wars, and there's other stuff that we can be excited about other than Star Wars.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so we have some good topics tonight. Gonna run the gamut again. A little bit of Star Wars. It has to be a little bit of Star Wars, but let's start with. All right, let's see what happens. We're gonna start with some Rebel Moon. What about Rebel Moon? Are we excited?
I'm excited
for it.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I'll say that. I wasn't a huge fan of the Snyderverse and all that. I know a lot of people were. I liked certain aspects of it, but I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan. Like, I don't not like him. It's not like he's like Ryan Johnson to me or anything. But I don't absolutely love him either. So I'm intrigued by this movie, especially knowing that it was pitched as a Star Wars movie, and it KK said no, and so he was like, well, all right, well, I'll just change it up and make it its own separate thing. So I'm curious to see what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm actually a big Zack Snyder fan. Not of everything that he's done, but most of his content I rock with, and especially the Snyderverse. You know, I love his, you know, now I'm not a big fan of the Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice, like the theatrical cut. I didn't like that. But the ultimate cut is awesome. His Justice League, awesome. Man of Steel, awesome. I loved his stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I can't wait to see what he's got in store for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that it was a Star Wars like idea, and you know, I guess Star Wars and Lucasfilm didn't want it, and now they're running with it, and he's going to do his own thing. Yeah, that made me very excited about it. So yeah, I'm all into the Rebel Moon, man. I can't wait.
So I have to tell you all honestly, Zack Snyder for me is a take it or leave it. I have nothing against Zack Snyder, but
kind of the same way.
The biggest problem I have with this movie is Anthony Hopkins. He's a robot. Why? If you have Anthony Hopkins, why is he a robot? I'm really having a hard time.
Yeah,
I'm really having a hard time getting past it. But he's very excited about it, by the way. So I'm kind of like, okay, he's excited. I'm not excited.
You know, maybe it's work. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you, Matt, as far as take it or leave it with Snyder. But I was with all the Snyderverse people for the Snyder cut to get released, because there was so many fans backing that. Like, I 100% supported that. But God, that was a long cut, man. It was a long cut. But
I know Nikki has an opinion, has a very specific opinion.
Hey,
Snyder,
Nikki.
I get it. Good to see you, Nikki.
You didn't like 300, Nikki? I love 300, man.
Well, so I like 300, but I don't. It's a weird thing for me, because I'm like, well, if you hadn't told me that Zack Snyder was the guy behind 300, I would never have known. Right?
Yeah.
I liked the movie though.
His style,
I really
really
liked it. And
what about
so
Watchmen? Did you like Watchmen?
Watchmen, I liked it. I did.
Watchmen was good. I liked Watchmen.
He has like this visual style I really like. I love his visual eye for film. I think he's one of the best visual creators out there. His storytelling sometimes can be a little, you know, like what was that? I always forget it when I'm talking about Zack Snyder. What's the one? Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
That was bad. Yeah,
I like Sucker Punch.
Did you really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I know my shit takes come out again, but I like Sucker Punch. But so this article is talking about a Rebel Moon prequel, and it's talking about an animated thing, right? And so I thought this is very interesting. The House of Blood Axe, set 5 years before the events depicted in Rebel Moon. And apparently, you know, Rebel Moon comes out December 22nd. I think that's right. Yeah, there it is, December 22nd. And actually, it's getting a theatrical release now. And so I, you know, in my mind, I'm kind of like, well, it's just another, you know, this sounds really snooty, right? It's just another Netflix movie release. But now they're putting on the big screen, so probably will you all go and see Rebel Moon on the big screen or no?
I'm definitely gonna go see it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm checking it out
in
the theater.
Yeah, because I think it probably deserves it. You know, for Zack Snyder, whether you like him, whether you hate him, I think it's going to be a good theatrical experience. Okay, fine. But now they're apparently doing a prequel series here. It's a comic, and Titan's doing it. And it's set 5 years before, and it's going to come out after the movie. And I'm kind of like, well, if it's a prequel thing, maybe you want to release it ahead of time. But I guess I kind of understand why they might want to release it afterwards. But here's some cover art from this. What do y'all think? Prequel, we knew they were going to do something, many more things. But what do y'all think about prequel thing? Comics, you into this or not?
I would probably be more, I guess, intrigued after the film. You know,
Yeah,
I still want
yeah,
to see what the movie is first before we start digging into, okay, now let's tell the prequel and then here's an animated show. It's like, time out. Can we see the movie first? I don't know if this
yeah.
movie is any good. So once I see the movie then I'll probably be more interested in, okay, let me dig deeper. Let me get into the comic and, the animated stuff. I'll be more interested at that point. But right now, I just want to see what this movie is. I'm intrigued. I'm excited about it. But, everything else, I'm just kind of, pushing pause on that.
Yeah. Yeah, same for me. I'm not gonna I think Coach, when I was talking to him about this earlier, I think he might actually get a copy of this and read it, just kind of see what it's all about. Because the thing is, it might give us a little bit of in-depth knowledge of what the movie will be about and some of the characters. So if it's like some woke nonsense trash where it's like women empowerment, they're all the most powerful, it's if they're doing that in the comic, they're probably going to do that in the movie, and that's the only thing I'm really concerned about. Like I don't want, to where all the women are the most powerful and greatest and all the men suck or are the bad guys.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna, it's not normally my style to lean into the woke commentary, but
Yeah.
just looking at this cover here, I mean, I don't know.
The chick on the front looks pretty badass.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
looks,
I mean,
she
the
looks
art
very
looks
no
great.
nonsense. She
Yeah.
looks very no
Yeah.
nonsense.
Yeah,
That art looks good. That doesn't tell me anything, but
Yeah.
because I've seen great art and great covers and trash stories on the other side of that comic.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, I'm not interested in, again, I want to see what the story is first for Rebel Moon, and then is this even a universe worth digging into?
Well,
it would have been probably interesting if they did, like, if they really believed in this, maybe they should have did the comic, a couple of years ago as they were building up to this. That might have been interesting. But just right at the same time, this doesn't move me at all.
Well, it's just like a trailer, right? They're not going to give us a trash trailer. If you give us a trash trailer, who's watching it?
Yeah.
But Derek, on your point, when I first saw this, I'm like, well, if you want to build up the hype or whatever, release this ahead of the movie, not after the movie. So I'm like, for me, and it's not only like they're releasing it after the movie, they're releasing it only by a week or so. So I'm like, this is very strange, but maybe there's a reason behind it.
Maybe
that we will see in the movie. I don't know, but I'm like,
Time will tell.
It's a prequel. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what it's all about. And I hope it's good because I would love to dive into something that I can kind of be excited about. And if it turns out to be a really good story with great characters and character development and all that, I'll be cheering on for the sequel to it.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Well, I've seen some folks in the chat also saying, they're invested in this. There's going to be more than one movie. We got the comics. We got all these things going on.
So, I mean, from what I know, they're planning on making it a big, huge thing.
100%. 100%.
So.
All right. So before we go to our next topic, let me clear some business. Davish, good to see you, Davish, and thank you for joining. I saw you join the Discord earlier. Thank you for that. Remember, for 3 months. Hail to chat. Hail EBN. Have a great show. Great to see you here. Thank you so much.
Davish.
Brandon, the anime guy, is here as always, doing the moderating things, doing all the things he normally does. And he says for $2, thou shall not crappeth on the One Piece. Did we crap on the One Piece?
No, I think he's just saying in general.
Okay.
Yeah, One Piece is great. I guess you said at the top of the show that we're going to be releasing it on Patreon at one time, so everybody has it once, because it comes down to time. It always comes down to time for me and Coach. Working our schedules out and to actually be able to do the reactions. If these were like 20-30 minute things, but each episode's an hour long, so it takes us a minute to kind of get on the same page, and then to actually go through it, pull it down, edit it, all that sort of stuff. It takes a lot of time, and and we just don't have a whole lot of free. We're not full-time YouTubers. We're part-time. So the part-time stuff you guys get from us, it's all because of you guys, because if it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't even be doing this. So thank you everybody for your continued support here. But yeah, One Piece is great, and I can't wait to finish it out. For me, it was a little rocky start. I was kind of like, oh, I don't really know if this is really gonna be something I can get into. But
I thought you give it a 9. No, you're a 9.
No. When I first started on the first episode, before I got halfway through the episode, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. But I was like, I'm gonna keep watching. We'll see how it goes. By the end of the first episode, I was like, okay, I'm in. This is great.
So
funny, on board, huh?
Yeah.
Funny story for you, Nick. My mom is here. Star Wars Mom, by the way. If you don't know, Star Wars Mom is my mom. She's here. She's here, and she gave it a 10. She absolutely loved it, and she said, "Did Nick like it?" And I said, she said, and if he didn't, it's okay. I said, oh no, he's liking it. He's liking it so much, so much. Yeah.
I'm actually loving One Piece, and I cannot wait to finish that show. Everybody out there should watch One Piece, and if you aren't on Netflix, join our Patreon. Watch it over there.
$5 a month.
Yep.
$5 a month.
And we put a lot of stuff up there. I'm actually going to be putting some stuff up there tonight too. Some classic Halloween stuff
nice.
That some of you guys might or might not have seen. Some of it's going to be some adult stuff, but some of it's going to be some animated cartoon classics.
Nice.
Like Garfield Halloween, the Great Pumpkin, man. Charlie Brown, so stuff that probably a lot of us here grew up on, which are absolute classics. So yeah.
And speaking of non-classic Halloween, I just recently saw on Netflix The Fall of the House of Usher. And I was like, well, I don't want to watch this. I thought it was the Usher, the music person. I was like, I don't want to watch. But it's Edgar Allan Poe, The Fall of the House of Usher. And there's 8 episodes up on Netflix. Absolutely amazing. Each one of the episodes has to do with a different Edgar Allan Poe story. And the whole story is about the family. And it's a little Succession-like, but it's all about the family. Huge moguls. They achieved great things, and each one is about how his children died for a very particular reason. So if you're into that kind of thing, I just wanted to put a plug out there for The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. Very appropriate for this time of year. And yes, you'll get your Raven, you get your Annabelle Lee, you get those things that you know about from Edgar Allan Poe. Really.
And that's on Netflix?
On Netflix.
Okay.
The Fall of the House of Usher.
I've been trying to actually catch up on my Gordon Ramsay, MasterChef, Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, Hell's Kitchen, he's back, and it's so good. It's so good.
See, I haven't even seen the first episode yet. They're all my DVR. Yeah. I gotta get caught up. I don't even have hardly time to watch my own stuff,
Right.
But yeah, I watch a lot of HGTV and cooking stuff, man. Like,
Yeah.
Fun fact for everybody out there. I'm into like stuff that
cooking
some
channels,
chicks are mostly
into. And Nick is an aspiring chef. You put some of this stuff.
I cook all the time. I love good food, but I can't afford to go eat at all the nice restaurants. So I just learned how to do it myself. Like I do all the plating and like all that stuff, and I absolutely love it. Like my nachos. Anybody who's had my nachos, you will not get better nachos from any restaurant in the entire planet. Everything is fresh. I always use fresh ingredients, like everything. They're the bomb. They're the bomb.
All right.
I love cooking.
Very good. All right, let's keep going. All right, here's Brandon, the Gatekeeper's Daimyo for $5. Here's to a great stream, everyone. A stream, gentlemen. Hail. 2 hearts.
Hail,
great to see you, Brendan.
Diamond.
Really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. All right, here comes Brandon, the anime guy, again for $2. I am Goblin Slayer. Do you all know what that
Is
means?
that a One Piece reference?
Anime.
Anime.
I haven't watched it.
Something
That's an
good.
anime. Goblin
Oh,
Slayer.
Goblin Slayer is an anime. You haven't seen it yet, Derek?
I have not seen that.
Okay.
You know, I don't know anything about it. So, Brandon, great to have you here. Thanks for that. He's back again for another one for $2. Fear not, citizens, for DA is here. I think he's a fan. Derek, I think he's a fan. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
well, he's talking about All Might. He always throws out a shout out to All Might. Yeah. That's how All Might says, "I am here." That's his like catchphrase, so to speak.
Very good. Brandon, thank you again for the support. One more, Red French Moon for €5. Hi guys. Snyder has great visual, story is hit and miss. People dunk on Whedon, but who knows, maybe he could have done great if he had
5 hours.
Oh, 5 hours too.
Yeah, like the
LOL.
Snyderverse. Yeah.
Oh, the Whedon. I got it now. The Whedon. Josh
Whedon.
Whedon.
Yeah, because Josh Whedon came
yeah.
in and took over, and that was the cut that got released. And everybody didn't like it, and so they wanted Snyder's version of the film, and everybody got it. And I am so happy that they finally got around to doing that and dropping that Snyder cut, because that thing was huge. There was so many people back in that Snyder cut, man. It was everywhere. There was billboards, that people paid for to put up saying release the Snyder cut. I mean,
because that's the vision. That's his original vision. That's the guy you should be. That's the film we wanted. We didn't want the whatever Whedon did. I was a big proponent of that, man. I was like, give me my Snyder cut, please.
Yeah, it was quite a movement, right? I didn't know anything about Snyder cut one way or the other. I mean, I didn't know, right? But I'm like, okay, fine. This is a thing. And then when it came out, 3 hours or however long it was, I'm like, this is really good. I personally enjoyed it a lot. Hype aside, I'm kind of like, okay. That was his thing. That was his baby. Let's let his baby be born, right? And let's see it. You know what I mean? So very good. So Red French Moon, thank you for that one. Look who's here. Felix, ¿qué tal? Felix, you are EBN Robotech. Oh, wow.
Everybody loves some Robotech.
Love Robotech, man.
Listen, I liked Robotech and of course, Thundercats and all those things, which I guess are technically anime, right?
Robotech is anime. That's from Japan. Voltron also. Right, that's anime. That's the stuff we grew up. That was our anime when we
But I didn't know it was anime. I just thought it was a cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, this is what was on when I was growing up. It's like, hey, okay. Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Back in our day, it was anything animated, it was just all cartoons. And then once later on in I don't know, it was probably mid to late 90s, maybe they started doing anime stuff.
There it is.
That's the one.
Yeah, but it was it started I remember Cartoon Network started doing the anime stuff with Dragon Ball Z. Do you remember what the name of that was, Derek? Where it had the ship with the little robot thing on Cartoon Network. It was like anime something.
That might have been when I stepped out. I stepped out of it for a little bit. So I don't remember that.
Yeah, somebody in the chat might know that this Cartoon Network had an anime thing where they would show a couple different animes, and Dragon Ball Z was one of them. And that was like Toonami, Vertical Horizons. Toonami.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
Toonami.
And of course, that's what my brother watched all the time, that me and Coach made fun of him for. And then we ended up loving it,
Yeah, so very good. So very good. Yep. Felix, great to see you here as always. Thanks for everything you do for the channel. Awesome. Brandon's back for $2, and for good measure, leave Star Wars alone. I think he's just making
Man,
comment there.
I'm with Brandon on this. I mean, I would almost rather Disney just not even touch it or do anything else with it if we're just going to keep getting the level of incompetence that we're getting. It's
Well,
like,
we're
ugh. Yeah, I'm
don't
not going to get into it.
I was going to say, don't you all worry. We've got the reboot topic.
Yeah,
on
we're
the
going to be getting into
agenda
it in the show
tonight. So everyone, thank you so much for all the support of the channel. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. This super chat video is for you all.
It's funny. I don't know if my buddy James is in chat. That was him who was trying to call me a minute ago. I told him I was on a live stream, but I was talking to him on the phone the other night. We were playing chess online, and he was like, "There's a Star Wars movie on, and it's got like an old Harrison Ford. What's that all about?" And I was like, "Oh, those are the sequels." He's like, what are those? I was like, they took place after the original ones. He's like, oh, I've never seen them. Should I watch these? I was like, no, they suck. Don't watch them.
He's asking the right person.
Yeah, he was like, all right, I'm turning the channel.
And so that's great. So, you know, I clipped out, I thought, what we're going to talk about tonight. And I said, you know what? People are always like, I don't know what movies are coming out because they're not doing a lot of advertising on movies. So I thought, I found the Direct. The Direct does a good job of aggregating other content. And so I said, let's see what movies are coming out. So I just brought this here. And our next article kind of feeds into this. But what movies, I just want to know, what movies are you all looking to see that are coming soon, if any? Do you have something on your schedule for what's coming to the theater? Nick and Derek, what do you think?
The only one for me coming up, which I haven't seen all these, so maybe I'll see some in this list that are coming out that I might be like, okay, I actually might be interested in that. But the one I'm most interested in seeing is Deadpool 3, which we're going to be talking about later.
The one that got delayed, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to check out Five Nights at Freddy's. That was one I was checking out. And then obviously
it looks too scary for me, Derek. I just can't. I mean, I'm very horror adjacent. By that I mean I can watch certain things, but I've seen that trailer now several times in the theater. I was like, I don't think I can do Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't think I can do it.
I see. I'm an old horror head. I've been watching horror since I was 10, and every horror film that comes out, just about, I try to watch it in theaters. Me and my boys, my two sons, or well, everybody in my family, we all love horror. Well, maybe not my daughter. My daughter might not like horror too much, but the boys do. But yeah, we all try to go out and check out horror films. So I don't know if we'll go see this one together, but we'll probably see it and then talk about it eventually. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's for sure is going to be my next film that I'm going to try to catch.
Dude, it looks freaked up, right?
It definitely
looks good, man. It looks good.
EBN, appropriate language, but it looks freaked up. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I can't. I don't think I can do that.
The only one really for October release that I'm really interested in is probably the Taylor Swift Eras Tour one. Is really the only one that I'm really all that interested in.
Dude, this is so amazing. This is so amazing. I went to my AMC last night to try and see Foe, and they didn't get the hard drive, so I ended up seeing Expendables. I don't recommend. But anyway, they had taken all the chairs away from the bar because they had gotten such an influx of folks the week before for this movie. This Taylor Swift movie, and the way she just went to AMC directly and did all these things, it's been amazing. and it's
Yeah.
done so very well. So very well.
Um,
Everyone in the theater is like dancing and they're singing. It's been so good. So good.
So I was totally joking. I care nothing about seeing Taylor Swift.
I was hoping you was joking.
F Taylor
I knew he
Swift.
was joking.
Start
I
calling
don't
him
give
Swifty.
two craps about no Taylor Swift crap. It's funny because my sister and her daughter like love Taylor Swift. They're Swifties, you know. They go to the
Yeah.
concerts and pay these outrageous ticket prices, and I'm like, you guys are retarded. But yeah, they're all about it. But yeah, I have no interest really. If you scroll back up real quick, Matt, the one that I'm really looking forward to is I don't know if I'll go to the theater to see it, but Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yeah.
the Scorsese movie, looks
Yeah.
freaking
Dropped this weekend.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so many great actors. I mean Scorsese also, so I mean you can't go wrong there. But I don't, like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna go to the theater and see it, but I definitely want to see Killers of the Flower Moon.
So it's 3 hours and 26 minutes long. I see
Not
it
go to
last
the
night.
theater.
So, but with the previews, then it's a 3 hour and 45-minute, investment.
Yeah.
It was at 7:30. I'm like, by the time it's done, I'm like, I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and
midnight.
see it next weekend because it's playing at 7 p.m. next weekend. But yeah, it's gotten some interesting reviews. But it's a Scorsese thing. You have to go and see Scorsese, in my opinion. And if you can see it, on the big screen, and by the way, it's an Apple movie, right?
Yeah.
So Apple has been,
Yeah, it is.
in my opinion, they've been
Yeah.
killing it on streaming, and this is an Apple movie. And of course, it's releasing on the big screen. So how good is that? How good is that? I know people have been razzing about the Marvels. The Marvels we'll talk about. The Marvels is coming out in November, of course. But then we've got the Hunger Games. Who knew? Another Hunger Games movie. It's coming.
Yep.
Napoleon. Joaquin Phoenix playing Napoleon. It looks interesting. And it's directed by. Oh gracious, he's a very famous director. It's escaping me, but Napoleon is coming. And then in December we have more things. Of course, we'll talk about Aquaman later. Rebel Moon is December 22nd.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott, thank you. Yes.
Napoleon.
Yes, Napoleon, Ridley Scott, perfect. And then we have these other movies, and then in 2024.
Bob Marley, One Love.
Yes, it's a
Wow.
biopic.
It's
a biopic.
funny because that song, well, not One Love, it was another Bob Marley song that was playing in Walmart yesterday while I was doing some shopping that got stuck in my head. I always listen. During the summertime when I'm out in the hot tub, like drinking like some summertime drinks and stuff, getting some sun, I always got some Bob Marley or some reggae music going, like that beachy sort of, I freaking love it. I actually would probably be, I'm definitely interested in checking out the Bob Marley one.
Yeah, and the guy who's playing Bob Marley, because I've seen the preview for it, amazing. And speaking of getting the sun, Nick, you are red in the face. You got some sun.
I was out there today getting some,
yes, I know. I'm like,
watching,
you are really red.
Yeah, I was on the phone with you while I was out there.
Yeah.
I was sitting out there and it's starting to get colder, so I'm starting to have to turn the temperature up on the hot tub because during the summertime I turn the temperature down to 70, and so it's almost sort of like a cold tub during the summer and then raise the temperature up in the winter. So I literally use it year round, but I got my TV out there, watch the football games on or whatever else. And
that's dope, man.
Yeah. I definitely got some sun today. Yeah. I got a little pimp backyard, man. It's like all woods behind me. It's all fenced and it's got like a nice view of Oak Mountain State Park with the mountains and stuff. And
there you go.
Yeah.
And so, by the way, the guy who's playing, I looked it up, who's playing Bob Marley is Kingsley Ben Air.
Okay,
and
that's the name. Yeah.
Kingsley Ben Adir. and we know him. He's been in several things, but if anyone survived Secret Invasion, he was the villain of Secret Invasion.
Oh, okay,
The
got
same guy who's playing Bob Marley
that's him. Okay.
in this movie. So yeah. So
You
yeah,
gotta
so we
start
got,
wondering though, with all of these movies that they're listing, like how many of these are even going to come out on these dates because of the strike. Like I'm looking
Yeah.
at that Ghostbusters Firehouse, and that probably would be one that I would absolutely want to go and
Same.
check out.
Same.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
if that thing even is coming out because I haven't heard anything that much about it. You know, right above that, you can see Snow White. I already know that the Snow White movie is going to get bumped back because they still going to have to do reshoots and everything. So yeah, and then that one's going to be a total disaster anyway because of all the comments from Rachel Zegler. That's going to be a disaster. Deadpool 3, as you can see, and Nick already mentioned, that's getting pushed back.
yeah, we got that story for later. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be so much in this list.
Rebel Moon 2 is coming out in April.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah,
No
they've already planned
way.
it. They've already.
I don't think it's coming out that day, is it? Wow.
Yeah, that was the original plan. Was do it in December and bring
And
the
then
next,
the next
in
one,
April.
huh?
So
I didn't know
they
that.
filmed part 1 and 2 together, right?
They must have.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have
Yeah,
it coming out
yeah.
that close together.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had
Wow.
to have. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that for sure.
Oh, look,
Oh,
Bad
listen,
Boys
people-
4.
People, I know people in the chat are like, "Bad Boys 4." Are
yeah.
like, are we doing this? Are we
No,
doing this
no
or
way.
not?
No way that
Ah.
comes out in June. No way. I
Nah.
thought Will Smith got
Not
kicked off of that project.
I think no, they just pushed pause. They pushed
Okay.
pause on it
Okay.
until all of the
So smoke cleared. And,
yeah. But
And,
I don't think
and
they
then
ever
Jada
unpaused it.
comes up making with her book, and now it's like all back. You know.
Oh man, it's terrible.
Oh.
Yeah, I think a lot of this
I
stuff.
think,
is just gonna get
Venger's
bumped back.
reminding me, which I knew that, which I guess I knew that Kingsley Ben Adir is the son of Ben Kingsley. Did
Oh,
you all
wow.
know that?
Nope.
No,
No
how
idea.
Cool, how cool is that? How
That's dope.
cool
I
is
did not know that.
Mhm. And I can see the resemblance now. He brings it up. It's like, okay, kind of looks that way. But again, I just bring this up because everyone's like, we talk about movies. I go to the movies. It's like,
Yeah.
what's coming out? Nobody knows because they're not advertising, and because the actor strike that's still ongoing. I think I looked
Yeah,
today.
you don't know
it was
what's
like
coming out anyway. Yeah.
the actor strike is at 100 days, by the way, as of today. 100
Yep.
days.
The thing
Crazy.
is, if it's still going on by the time Thanksgiving gets here, or the week before Thanksgiving, it's not resolved. I guarantee you that strike goes on to the end of the year.
Oh,
Well,
easily.
it needs to at this point, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mean to say it needs to, but now because we missed that window, they had to be just before Labor Day to get back into the groove,
Right.
if you will,
Right.
of getting the stuff out when we expect it. But now after that got passed, I'm like, well, I mean, if you're into it, then you need to keep going until the end of the year.
Yeah. I think with the latest, they made the demand that they get a certain percentage of revenue sharing or whatever for every streamer, for like 57 cents for every single stream a subscription. I said, there's no way they're going to agree to that. there's no way they're going to agree to that, at least not right away. So yeah, they just pulled the plugs on the talk. So I mean, this thing's probably going to sit for the rest of the year.
And I think I seen an article earlier today that says as of Tuesday next week they're coming back to the talk. So
yeah,
at least they're still talking, but I think they're still so far apart, that
that's
it's going to be
insane.
difficult. It's going to be difficult. But here's Alien Romulus. I know Nick, you and you guys just put a video out about that. Kraven the Hunter, we forgot about it, but Beetlejuice 2. September, a lot there. 2024 could be stacked if all these movies do come out. Then, which I think they won't, right? I think they're going to actually space them out, into 2025.
Yeah.
But you've got Sonic again, the Thunderbolt.
I think all these ones minus the animated films, I bet only about half of them actually come out in 2024.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
I think half is a generous idea, but yes, I'm with you. I'm with you because they have to hold these back, right?
Mhm.
And they have to like we have to space them out. And what comes down here, movie releases in 2025, and then
A
without
lot of the
release date.
2024 movies will be on this list. At
Yeah,
some
I mean,
point.
right now it's like
Yes.
it's so few, right?
Mm.
Got your Superman Legacy and some of the rest of these, Avatar 3, and then
the
the
Batman is not coming. The part 2 for that's not coming out till 2025.
not at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, as of right now.
Okay. Derek,
Yeah.
did you like the Batman?
Yeah, I actually liked it. I thought it was all right. The not my favorite Batman by
Yeah.
any stretch. But I didn't mind Robert Pattinson's take on it. I thought he was, it was definitely an emo kind of Batman. I definitely didn't like that aspect of the Bruce Wayne side of Batman, but I liked his Batman, like his actual Batman kicking ass. Like I like that guy. But
Yeah.
But
Bruce Wayne, nah, I'm good.
But if he's gonna
Same.
ever if he's ever gonna move a table again, leave his shirt on, please, for the love of God. If he's gonna actually, I mean, that table was winning, right? Put the shirt back on. I was like, I don't understand what is going on in this
Yeah.
scene.
And
It
actually,
was not good. It was not good.
yeah, and I actually like the modern twist on it, like making like the Penguin more like a normal mob villain, It wasn't like, I like Tim Burton Batman that's more like comic book, true to the comics and stuff. But then I also like kind of this take where it's like kind of like more modern, sort of very similar to the crap, what is it? The one with God, I'm drawing a blank. Christian Bale. Christian Bale's Batman.
Yes.
Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, the Dark Knight
Mhm.
trilogy.
Mhm.
It was very like modern, and the villains weren't too comic booky, So I like that. I like that aspect of it for sure. And what's up to my boy James Insco out there in the chat? What is going on, man?
Who is here? Some of you know, James?
Yeah, you highlighted his chat a minute ago.
Okay,
So
good,
don't
good.
forget Garfield.
I'm trying. I'm not so good on the highlighter. But like I said, I just wanted to put this up because everyone's like, I never know what movies are coming or whatever. So I got this from the direct. So if you're ever worried, if you want to go back in the movies or whatever, look for the direct. The direct does good things aggregating content. And so of course, unannounced dates. We're gonna have all our Star Wars stuff here, and Swamp Thing, and the other Spider-Man, and
Spider-Man 4 is coming
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
then?
and I don't ever look at that. If it says TBA, I don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like
I need a release date, and then I start paying
Yeah.
attention at that.
these are things that we've heard talked about.
Yeah,
Never
just
been
announced.
given anything confirmed.
Mangled Star Wars movie.
Mhm.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, there's no way that mangled Star Wars movie happens.
Not at all.
But man, the freaking Sony, God, that last Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, God, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep,
That was awesome.
Couldn't disagree.
That was good.
Couldn't
Great
disagree.
theater experience, especially with everybody in the theater. Man, hopefully the fourth one is as good. I wasn't that big of a fan of the ones previous to that, but Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland being a part of that, and all the other characters from that. Oh man, what a good movie!
I've become such a huge Andrew Garfield fan.
I would be on board for them doing a third movie with him.
For things that have nothing to do with Spider-Man, just all the other things that I've seen him do, whether it's been
he's a great actor.
Boom,
Yeah,
or whether it's been he played a Mormon detective in a it was so good in that, I think it was a Hulu series. I mean, he is just a consummate actor, just come into his own. And then
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw, yeah, and then they
Killer
bring him
performance
back. They
by
bring
him.
him back, and he it looked like to me that he never had as much fun playing Spider-Man as he did in that movie.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a huge Tobey Maguire fan. So for that, I'm kind of like, okay, that was fine. He was there. But for me, Andrew Garfield just absolutely killed it.
Yeah, the
in
guy
that
can
movie.
act. He's a good actor, man.
And that maybe it's recency bias because I'd seen him in all those other things. I'm like,
Yeah.
ah, gracious sakes, he's a
Yeah,
consummate actor.
I wasn't as big a fan of his version of Spider-Man as I was Tobey Maguire. I love Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I wasn't that big of an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man fan. But after the last Spider-Man movie, No Way Home,
Right. Yeah.
man, his performance in that, I was like, bro, I went back and rewatched the 2 Garfield Spider-Mans and had it was a whole new light. I still wasn't the biggest fan. I still like the Tobey Maguire stuff better. But man, I would 100% be on board for them doing a 3rd movie with him and continuing that
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
A lot of people want that. Yep.
Yeah, and do a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. Like Sony should have got that right after that movie. They should have got that in the works, man.
Yeah.
And just it was like, look, we're going to continue this story, and the current Spider-Man. With
isn't it true? We didn't really care so much about the story. We just loved seeing them back as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's the nostalgia factor, man. It's always nostalgia. But they could have played upon that and actually did something with it and told a good story. I think there's still stories they could tell with those 2 characters or those 2 Spider-Men that would be interesting. Where are they at now? How are they fighting crime now? What's going on in their lives, in their pocket universes? What's going on over there? I think there's something to be said for that. And why Sony is not going in that direction, I don't know. Maybe they don't have any good ideas for it. But that would have been awesome.
No, totally with you. All right, here we go. Keep going. Here's our Gatekeepers Daimyo. Member for 6 months. Why is it only 6 months? You should have been a member longer than that, Brenda. Goodness sakes. I can't wait for the reboot. I'm not sure which reboot he's talking about.
Man, there's so many
Star
reboots
Wars.
being talked about and rumored about. We'll see. We'll get into some of it in a little bit.
We'll get there.
We're getting there.
I gotta love all the Matts, right? Matt Vaughn had some things to say. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. Good to see you, Gatekeepers time. Appreciate it. And then Red French Moon is back for another €5. I was hyped for Napoleon until they made him shoot the pyramids, which never happened. Battle took Smiles away from it, and Cannon couldn't reach anyway. So what Red French Moon is talking about is
they're not being historically
Joaquin Phoenix
accurate.
is playing Napoleon, and the trailers do show him and his army shooting the top off a pyramid. And I actually, it's so funny that he brings this up because I looked at that, I'm like, I don't really think that happened. But I mean, looked cool. I'm like, they did it well.
Yeah.
But what do you all think about? What do you think about them editorializing Napoleon's history for this
I'm not
movie?
a fan. I like history to be told the way it's told, and I don't like them jumping in and let's add this fictional part of his world or whatever. If we don't know it, obviously we don't know, and there's going to be maybe some speculation, but if we know for certain that something that again, Napoleon shooting down the pyramid, come on, man. It's like let's not even put that in there. That's absolutely insane.
It's sort of like if you guys ever watched the movie Noah that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
Completely unbiblical storytelling of Noah. So in that aspect, I definitely, if you're going to do a historical telling of a story, I think you need to keep it as true to the historical facts as possible.
Absolutely.
Maybe you could smudge a little bit one way or another on some things, but for the most part, it should be historically accurate and then told in a way that's entertaining for the audience.
100%. I agree.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Like I said, I think. By the way, I do think Joaquin Phoenix seems to be killing it. Again, it's just a trailer, but I'm like, okay, he's channeling in his inner Napoleon. That's fine. So I mean, I still think it's one of those movies that I would love to see in the theater. Or as Coach would say, theater. But it's kind of like, okay, I mean, he never shot the top off the pyramid. Weird, very weird for me. So okay, so thank you all again for all the support. Appreciate those super chats. So let me play this video for you all. Thank you. right, very good. So I'll bring us to our next conversation. Okay, Derek's gonna be ready because we're moving into. We've got a little bit of a segment here that's talking about all the stuff that's going on with Marvel, and then we're going to move into the DCU as well. And the first
Yes.
one is talking about our friend Brie Larson. And so talking about how, and by the way, this goes a lot into the book. This book that's come out. What
I
is
got to
it?
get this book. I'm going to buy this book, this MCU, The Reign of Marvel
Reign of
Studios.
Marvel.
Yeah.
And by the way,
I
I
want
don't
to
know.
get this book.
I don't know if you all follow Screen Crush at all. I love Ryan Airy and this dog Doug and all this stuff. But he does. They love Loki there. They've been doing some Loki stuff. And where I'm going with this is he had one of the authors from this book on his small panel. They do like a retroactive what's going on with these, and it was fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating the things that they've gleaned from this book. And as we continue going on these topics, we have a lot of nuggets from this book, even some Star Wars nuggets that talk about Brie Larson and her where she's going and what she's doing. And so, what do you all think about the way they're treating the MCU, which characters we're continuing? And basically, this article is basically saying, it's Brie Larson is very soundbitey and not in a good way, right? The things that she says is super weird. And I know Coach and Nick did did a video earlier in the week about this.
No.
It's like, well, am I drinking enough water? Am I doing these things? I'm like, this is just weird. The things that she says is just weird to me. But in regards to where the MCU is going and how Captain Marvel is continuing, what do you all think? Right? Do you think they flubbed this up? What do you think about Brie
100%.
Larson and all that? And you all discuss, and I will be back in 1 second.
All right, shoot, Derek.
Well, I mean, yeah, Captain Marvel has always been a bad character all the way going back to the comics, at least the Brie Larson version. So I didn't understand, or not the Brie Larson, the Carol Danvers version. I don't understand why they thought this was going to be a character they could introduce into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this was going to be a beloved character. They've struggled with this character from the get-go, So yeah, it makes sense. And of course, she's going to blame the fans and, the fans didn't like me and the fans don't, like my take on the character and everything. She doesn't take any accountability for her words, for the things that she has said. She doesn't do any of that. All she does is just, push it off on somebody else, but overall, yeah, the character was going to be, kind of a marginal character from the get-go, because it's always been like that with the comics. Nobody really embraced this character, even when it was a comic book character. It's like, again, this kind of girl boss wish fulfillment stuff that they pushed into the film. And, it was just really bad. I don't think, they were thinking about the fan base when they said, okay, we're going to bring Captain Marvel in. I think they were thinking about their ideology.
Yeah.
We're going to go with the women, the female, the MCU. We're going to go in that direction. And that's why we're trying to elevate this character higher than, she should be.
And they sandwiched it right in there between the last movie before Infinity War, or was it before Endgame? Yeah, it was before Endgame.
It came out 6 weeks before Endgame.
Yeah,
6 weeks before Endgame. And because at the end of Infinity War, you saw Samuel L. Jackson, before he turned to dust or whatever, he pulled out the beeper. And that beeper had Captain Marvel symbol on it. So that was going to guarantee that everybody had to go and see that movie, because we need to know what's going on with this character. We were led to believe that we needed to understand who this character was, and that's why that film made $1 billion. That's the only reason that film made $1 billion. This next one that's about to come out is going to flop spectacularly, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, she was out there talking all kinds of crap, during the interviews and about other movies, how, this wasn't made for you and all this other crap,
she said I didn't. What she say? I didn't make it for 40-year-old white men.
Yeah,
that's literally what she said.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, okay, so then the 40-year-old white men, by the way, Brie, that's your audience. Like, those are the people you should have been making this movie for. You know, because that's comic book fans. Comic book fans are the ones. The male audience is what push comic books. You know, when I was a kid collecting comics, and I would go to a comic shop, it was me and a whole bunch of guys. It was very rarely. Every once in a while, some dude would walk in with his girl, and it's like, okay, that guy's got his girl. That was the only girl in there. There were very few girls coming to buy that. That has been your fan base for I don't know how many years, and now you've just turned your back on them. You know, oh, we didn't make this for the 40-year-old men. So all of the comic book fans that weren't, you know, MCU stans, they checked out. They're like, okay, screw this film. Now, a lot of them still went to see it because they thought, well, I got to see what it is so I can, you know, catch up and keep up with Endgame, you know, and see what's going to happen with this next film. I want to be but
so I have to tell you all, I went to the first Captain Marvel film, and I'm going to this one for the same reason. Now I know Phil Coulson won't be in this one, but I wanted to see. I wanted for Nick Fury and Phil Coulson in the first one. And in this next one, I want to see if they do more respect to the Nick Fury character in this movie than they did in the disaster that was Secret Invasion. Because for me, it was an unmitigated disaster. And they drug Ben Mendelsohn down into the disaster with the rest of the nonsense. Goodness sakes, what a... So I am going again for Samuel L. And
this should be Nick Fury's time to shine. That should have been his time to shine. This is his own series. Give him the best possible writers, directors, everything. You know, Samuel L. Jackson's been kind of keeping the MCU together, you know, pieces of it. And now's your opportunity to really, you know, say, hey, we're going to showcase Nick Fury and go hard with this guy. And they just completely dropped the ball. Secret Invasion was a train wreck, man.
So for me, I'm kind of like, and by the way, this is another one of my poop takes. You know, I have a lot of them, but in regards to the Disney Plus series that have come out, Miss Marvel had a lot of heart. I didn't hate watching Miss Marvel the way I hated She-Hulk and Secret Invasion and some of the rest.
I didn't even watch any of those shows. I already knew they were going to be bad after the first couple that I watched. I was like, man, I'm out from these Marvel Disney Plus shows.
I watched one episode of Miss Marvel and I was done.
You couldn't make it to the. I
got one episode in. I got an episode and an episode and a half. I watched like half of episode 2.
So
I haven't been back.
So
it's not
Derek,
for me.
I have to tell you, if you got the time, revisit because the series, to me, it had a lot of heart, right? And so for me, she's in it. I want to see what happens with Nick Fury. But again, it's I can pull the article up, but it's already now they're only saying it's going to do 70-80 million.
Man,
it's going to flop so hard. It's so hard. I cannot wait.
And I'm kind of like, oh my Lord, right? I mean, and, you know, we'll get there, but I'm like, this is so bad. It's just
Marvel lost their way a long time ago.
Yeah,
they lost their way a long time ago, and this is just kind of the culmination of that. You're about to see with this film. This film is going to be the worst, in my opinion. It's going to be the worst in terms of box office for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, hands down. And that's going to be the ultimate, you know, in my opinion, vindication for every fan that has been saying all of this time, hey, you guys are doing it wrong. You guys are doing it wrong. You got to pull back.
Speaking of which,
this thing is
here it is, the trade. You know it's bad when the trades are quoting us, right? When they're like, oh my God, what is going on right now? Right? 75 to 80 million superhero fatigue. It's right here in the freaking title.
And the thing is, they don't even get it. See, they're saying superhero fatigue. This is bad movie fatigue, is what it is. If you came out, I guarantee you, if you came out with a Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Iron Man, Cap movie coming back, I guarantee you'd do $1 billion.
Easily.
After all these other crap films. Now, not saying that movie would be good.
You don't trust Marvel.
Yeah, not saying that movie would be good, especially if they wrote it bad like all these other ones, but having those characters back would draw people back in, and if you're going to have them, you would imagine you'd have some good writers on board. But yeah, this just comes down to the writing for all these new Marvel movies.
Yeah.
All the main people that built the MCU out, they're all gone. They're not even there anymore. And so Feige's got all these other new people with the freaking feminist woke agenda crap, narrative that they're pushing with the all-female MCU and the all-female Avengers and stuff. And the thing is, they're literally cutting their audience in not even half. Like, they're cutting 75% of the audience out of people that want to see this stuff, because like Derek said, when you're going to comic book stores growing up, you didn't see a whole lot of girls in there ever.
You didn't.
No.
It would be like them trying to make, it would be like the makers of the Barbie movie trying to make the Barbie movie for us.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Why would you do that? You wouldn't make Barbie for me or Nick. No, you're going to make Barbie for the ladies. That's your audience. That's your core fan base. The girls, the ones that grew up buying Barbie, collecting Barbie, dressing Barbie, buying all the Barbie toys, the Barbie dream house and the car and all that. You want to make the stories or the movie for them, not for me. I'm not interested in that. But that's the thing. That's what they don't understand. They're trying to turn comic books into something that it's not. And they're not listening to the fans that are saying, hey, you're doing this wrong. Okay. You got to go in a completely different direction. Risman, let me share something real quick. I want to share.
Before you do that, I have two questions. Did you watch Barbie?
No, I did not. It's not for me.
Me neither.
I recommend you watch it.
I'm gonna see it one day. I'll see it one day.
That's number one.
I wasn't paying to go see it at the theater. For sure.
I'll check it one day when it's on, like, Amazon Prime or something.
I recommend both of you all to watch that movie, and then we'll have a conversation again about it. But I just want to, before we share what you want to share, I just wanted to put this thing I highlighted. The last title from Marvel Studios that didn't open to $70 million or more was Ant-Man in 2015.
Wow, and the majority of the Ant-Man movie.
Yes. And the majority of the movies, 25 of them, have opened to $100 million or more domestically. And then they give another soundbite about 8 movies coming in at $150 million or higher. So, but again, 75 to 80, this is atrocious, right? This is
in
atrocious.
Today's standards, with inflation the way it is right now, that's not good.
I did a video on my channel where I was going through like my local theater and just seeing, like, okay, where's, like, what are the pre-sales? Because the pre-sales came out like a couple of weeks back, and I was showing, like, the theaters are completely empty. There's a few seats here and there, but, like, remember, if you were trying to get tickets for No Way Home, if you were trying to get tickets for Endgame or any of those films when they came out, sold out. You couldn't get in on Thursday. You couldn't get in on Friday. I had to wait till Saturday to see most of those films, but now, it's wide open, 3 weeks after the, the tickets went on sale, wide open. Go ahead, sit anywhere you like, you'll be just fine.
So if you want to put your share thing behind the scenes. Let me hit these start things while you're doing that. All right, Brandon's still here supporting the channel. Love you, Brandon. Thank you so much for $2. Most on the list looked like poop. Overall, not good. I think he's referring back to when I was showing the movie stuff.
Yeah, there was a couple on there, but the majority of those, I'm not going to spend money to go see in the theater for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm on the A list. I have a good, $23 a month.
See,
3 movies a week, whatever. So that's why everyone's like, "How do you see all these movies?" I'm like, every week I go
A-list.
I maximize
AMC A-list.
Yes, absolutely. I missed Mike. Mike has been here. My goodness, I missed seeing you, Mike. You're always razzing me in the chat. Mexican Iron Man, the original producer for the channel. Great to see you, my brother.
Hell, brother.
5 Echo Base Network memberships. So great for that. And thanks for all the new members. And Mike, I sure hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my brother. Fat Steven is here. Oh no, for Canadian $2. So that's like 97 cents, or the exchange rate. It's almost $1. It's getting there. It's getting there. Nick, you're so lucky getting Mr. Clean on. Wow. I always do. I said to Coach, I said I always make sure I shave on Saturdays just to be, just to be that Just on it. Just on it. Good to see you, Fat Steven, my friend. Great. To hope you're doing well as well. He's back again for another about 97 cents. Do the exchange rate. I don't know. Canadian money doesn't really matter, but okay. Fat Steven for Canadian $2. Arlena says, where is Darth Arlena? My God, talk about someone we haven't seen in a minute.
Yeah.
So happy EBN is going diverse. Oh, wow.
Does that mean me?
Yeah,
Gotta be me, right?
Yeah, I think
you're the least white of us. You're the least white of us. I mean, who's the reddest of us? I'm the whitest of us, and you're the least whitest of us. So
I had Mexican Iron Man in there, so that was some diversity. So
now we just got to get Mexican Iron Man on here, and then we need Nikki, and then we will have all the check boxes.
No. Yeah, totally.
EBN's
Thank you for that,
DEI plan is in full effect.
And Toddzilla, another long-time subscriber and supporter of the channel. Toddzilla, I hope you're doing well. Great to see you for $5 big. Quote-unquote, superheroes by definition are masculine. To make a female superhero, you need to strip her femininity. I think I said that right, and make her masculine. It's incongruent. That's a big word, incongruent. Toddzilla, wow, he must be more sober than any of the rest of us. That's great. But what do y'all think of his comment, though? By the way, in regards to this,
I don't agree. I think you can have a female superhero, and still have her embrace her femininity. I think all good characters.
Jean Grey
easily. Right, they embrace their femininity. They're not masculine necessarily. I always use the example of when you talk about any female hero, action hero. Look at Ellen Ripley from Aliens, and you can see she is absolutely embracing her mothering side when it comes to her and how she deals with Newt. She's not just all super hardcore masculine. She's And even at the end of the movie, like Newt calls her mommy, it's like that feeling was there with that character. And, so it doesn't mean that just because, and she's a badass in that film, 100% hero, 100% badass, but also a woman. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can absolutely do both.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, he's probably referring more to today's modern version of superheroes, especially in the comics. Because now they all have big, huge muscles, and they all have, purple hair, that's short. And so, but the back in the day, superhero female characters were not written and done the way that modern Hollywood and comics are doing them today. They're completely taking the feminist side out of it and kind of merging female and male genders together and making them the same, modern version, yes, I agree. Actual history of superhero female characters, they definitely were more feminine back in our day.
But by the way, Sigourney Weaver is just a badass, right? I'm not disagreeing with any of your all points, but I'm like Sigourney Weaver for me is like, again, maybe it's just from where I came up from, but I mean, she's like God tier, right? In regards to a female who played a badass character. Absolutely. Right, whether the character was female or male, of course she was female, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It's just like she was off the chain, right? In even if you don't agree, all those Aliens movies were great. She was, to me, amazing in all of those movies.
Yeah,
and so
and the thing is,
where'd she go? By the way, what happened to Sigourney Weaver? What's she doing?
She's still around. She's still doing nothing. She's got.
She was in Avatar.
Yeah,
in Avatar. Yeah, so she's been doing stuff,
and she's got another movie.
What is she doing?
She's got another movie coming out. I saw a trailer for not too long ago. So she's still doing projects.
Good.
But there's another good example with Sigourney Weaver. I hate her politics. But her characters
Amazing.
are
All
awesome. Her
amazing.
character
Yeah.
in Ghostbusters, her characters in Aliens, you know, going back to the Brie Larson thing, you know, her character's just bad, and people don't like.
Yeah.
And it's not all Brie Larson's fault. It's also the writer's fault and the people putting it together. But she's just adding kind of fuel to the flame, where it's like, if you just kept your mouth shut, things might be a little bit better for you, and people probably wouldn't hate you so much.
It's
Attitude is
again,
everything.
it's social media is the problem, right? Because as we were all we're so old, right? As we were all coming up, the only thing you ever knew about any of these actors was when they did official interviews. We didn't know their politics. We didn't have them in like a pseudo fireside chat. We didn't have them online. They didn't exist, right? So we only knew them from the movies that they were playing and from the interviews that were obviously curated to be very specific around their part, the movie, etc. And I feel like we're in a place where we are today in a large part because social media killed it. Just killed it.
Yep.
Right? I don't need to have this. I don't need to have a pseudo personal relationship with these actors or actresses. They just need to act, right? And I need to consume what they're. I need to watch that film.
That's it.
Or that series. Yeah. And I know they're people, but I'm a person too. And you don't. When you interact with me at work, you don't care about what any of my other things are about. You're just interacting with me at work. Right?
Tom Cruise is a weirdo, and that Scientology crap's weird. But Top Gun 2, freaking badass.
Amazing.
And absolutely love that. So I'm not going to any Hollywood actors or actresses for moral, direction or anything like that. It's like, just shut the F up, do the movies, and give us the entertainment, and keep all the crap out of the entertainment, because we don't want to sit there and be preached to the whole time. But whatever. Let's see what Derek's got.
Wait, I got to keep going on these super chats, and I'm going to go to Derek. I'm going to go to Derek. Derek, I haven't forgotten your sharing.
No, you're good. I was checking. It was tripping on my side.
Pat Stevens here again. Canadian $2. He's acknowledged. Here's 90 cents for the dollar store. for the dollar store tan cream. Wow. Listen, it costs way more than 90 cents, but appreciate you as always.
Yeah, I actually used coconut oil while I was out in the hot tub today.
By the way, I'm gonna skip down. Is it Fat Steven's birthday?
Specialist. Steven, is it your birthday today?
Happy birthday, bro!
Birthday. If so, happy birthday. If not, screw you for saying it's your birthday. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. If it's your birthday, Steven, happy birthday, brother. Everybody.
I don't think we still have Darth Vader singing happy birthday, but you can imagine it. That's great.
That was kind of a long video too.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Thanks for that super chat for $2. And we have one more. Makina Draws.
What's up, Makina Draws?
You know Makina Draws?
Yeah.
Awesome
artist.
Draws is a real thing. It's a real thing. For $2.
Awesome artist.
Hail Echo Bass from Fat's birthday show. So I guess he sent some folks.
I bet he's live right now and they're stream sniping.
Are they what do they call it? Sniping? Are they sniping us?
Yeah, hang on.
If you're sniping us, I'm so sorry. We're trying so hard.
I'm about to go to Fat Steven's channel.
You check it out while I play a video. For all these folks that just supported the channel again. Gracious sakes, and we have 143 people that are still here with us. Really appreciate that. And for all of y'all that just sent in those super chats, this video is for you all. right, wonderful. So, Derek, I promise. Here you go. You've been so patient.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Here you go. What
Oh.
you're trying to share? Tell us about it. Tell us all about
So
it.
we were talking about why Marvel is all messed up. This was an article that came out last year. Why Marvel is hesitant to hire comic fans as MCU writers. So keep this in mind when you're thinking about what's going wrong with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, why Marvel seems to be struggling right now, why they don't, they can't connect to their fan base. I think one of the things they realize is that we are not in tune with our fan base. One of the things that came out this week out of that book, that MCU book, was that they thought that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was going to be quote unquote a banger. That's what they said, right? They said this movie is amazing. It's dynamite. Oh my God, this is going to be great. And then they were stunned that everybody didn't like it. The critics didn't like it. The fans didn't like it. And it was a box office flop, right? So everybody's wondering, well, why is that? Well, maybe it has something to do with the fact that you don't want to hire comic fans as your writers. Now, listen to this. This guy here, Marvel studio producer Nate Moore, right? He says that being a huge comics fan is actually a red flag. Okay, so if you like comic books and if you're a writer, you're a Hollywood writer and you like comic books and you got an idea, oh, that's a red flag. We don't want to hire those guys, right? Now I'm gonna show you the quote because this thing blew me away when I first read it. So here's his quote. For me, one thing I think is interesting about Marvel's process, and specifically for writers, I would say a lot of times we're pitched writers who love Marvel, okay? Guys who love Marvel. And to me, that's always a red flag because I go, oh, I don't want you to already have a pre-existing idea of what it is because you grew up with issue 15 and that's what you want to recreate. I want somebody who goes hard on the material, who says, what is this? I think there's a movie here, but maybe we should we should be looking at it this way. These are the guys that they had writing phase 4 and phase 5. I guarantee it. People that didn't grow up with issue 15. You need issue 15 because those are the fans that you're trying to connect to. You're trying to connect to people that actually love the material. Remember, like I was saying with Barbie, you want to find girls, you want to write something for the girls, little girls that grew up idolizing Barbie, had every Barbie imaginable, all of the different versions of Barbie. That's who you want to appeal to. You want a guy that grew up with issue 15. That's the guy you want to have, that you're trying to get to, create your material to write Marvel, the MCU content. All right. But what did they do? They ran out and got all of these people like Jessica Gal, who did She-Hulk, who had no idea what She-Hulk was, didn't even have any experience writing a courtroom drama or anything like that. They found all of these people that had no clue as to what they were doing. And this is the reason why Marvel is failing. You can hear it. These guys thought that it was a process. You always heard about the Marvel quote unquote formula. Oh, the formula. Yeah, they got a formula. Kevin Feige has a formula. I've always said Kevin Feige, I'm not saying anything bad about his ability to produce, but he is very, very lucky that he had guys like Jon Favreau. He had Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man. He had great actors like Scarlett. He had great actors like Chris Evans and all of these other people that were good in their roles. And they knocked it out of the park. And then he had a guy like James Gunn to come in and do Guardians of the Galaxy. He had great writers, great directors. That's what he had. This whole thing about the Marvel process and the Marvel formula and, we don't hire Marvel fans to actually write our material. That's the problem. That's the problem with the MCU.
And so, Derek, so perfect, because I had to bring up the next article, which is, again, from the book. This book, I have to have this book. We all have to have this book, this MCU book, but it's talking about what exactly you're preaching on. And it's Kevin Feige now, which again, I'm kind of like, all right, so you're admitting it, but you could have stopped it, but but put that to the side, right? Put that to the side. But apparently, based upon Quantumania, the quote was, Marvel Studios is aware of what's happened with the brand. My understanding, having talked to some people, is that Quantumania really shook them. And I'm sure Secret Invasion shook them further. But Quantumania really shook them because they felt like they had something good because all internally thought everyone's gonna love this. And guess what? We didn't love it because it wasn't good.
Nobody loved it.
Wasn't
Yeah, that's
good.
two more paragraphs down. 2 more paragraphs down. Oh no, our internal barometer is not attuned to what people want anymore.
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know. These guys had no idea what they were doing. They were just spitting out content, hoping that people would like it. They said, we put out a banger. That's what they said. That was what was going on in their heads. That they thought they had something special. And it was an absolute dud. So you can only imagine what the next couple of movies are going to be like. I think the Marvels is going to flop spectacularly. I think it's going to be one of the worst things.
Oh yeah, it's going to be terrible.
I just have to ask though, this is really focused on Quantumania. For me, it was Doctor Strange 2 that really started to tell me.
Same.
Yeah.
I still haven't finished that movie today. I've tried to
don't
do it 3 times, and I still have never got to the end of it.
But as much as I love, I call Benedict Cumberbatch a Cumberbun, right? As much as I love him and the way he portrays Doctor Strange, that movie is not good, and that was one of those movies that kind of made me angry, right? And and for me, this is really focused on Quantumania. For me, I'm kind of like, it had with Michael Douglas was in it, and so I can give Quantumania a pass because of the cast, right? But for me, the killer in their movies in this phase, whatever freaking phase it is, I don't fucking know. I don't freaking know, right? But for me, it was Doctor Strange 2. What a freaking disappointment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then they followed that up with what? Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yep.
Oh, I can't even go into that. I mean, that was that was. I mean, no.
Yeah.
No. But
only good Marvel movie after
the
Endgame
trajectory that was going down. It started with Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah. The only
but that's where it started, man. It started with these bad writers that didn't understand who they were making this content for. They said, well, maybe we shouldn't look so much at the original content, the original Marvel Cinematic Universe. There was a lot of spin-offs from the comic runs that we had. The Infinity War the saga came from the Infinity Gauntlet run. The Civil War, that was a comic run that we had in Marvel. So all they were doing is just adapting. But now that they're on their own and they're just writing their own content, their own material, you can see where they're going with it. They're not going anywhere. They're making content. They think they're putting out a banger, and it's just turning out to be absolute trash.
No, I'm totally with you. I have to find the book. This book is called, what is this book called? It's called
The Rise of
the Reign of Marvel Studios.
The Marvel Studios. Yeah, I want to get this book, man.
That's definitely gonna. Everybody should screenshot or write this down right now. MCU, the Reign of Marvel Studios, and check this thing out, because I guarantee you there's gonna be some juicy stuff coming out of this book.
Oh yeah.
Some juicy stuff.
Oh, we have so many more. All these articles that we chose, and I'm like, every note, every one is about the book. It's about the book.
Yeah,
it's about the book. And so, okay, I'm going to put it in the chat now. This is just from Amazon. Here we go. It's this book, and like I said, is it going to do? Let's see if it's too big. Oh yeah. I will try to. The character limit was too big. Here we go. Let me share this. Let me copy the link. Let's see if it does it.
Yeah, while you're doing that, the only good movie we got was the Spider-Man No Way Home, and it wasn't even a Disney MCU Marvel.
Yeah, it was Sony.
It was Sony.
Yeah,
Barrett did it.
We haven't gotten one yet. You could maybe throw in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I still haven't seen it yet, but from what I've heard, it's actually a pretty good movie.
It's because James Gunn knows how to make a movie, and we're going to talk about James Gunn before it's over.
But you know what? It's also completely separate. The Guardians 3 is like completely separate from. It doesn't even feel like it's the MCU. It's just a continuation of the Guardian series.
Yeah.
It doesn't really involve the MCU necessarily. So it's like its own thing, and you can just enjoy it for that. So yeah, it's in the cinematic universe, but it's not really a part of it.
I need to watch that. Is it on Disney Plus?
Yes, it is.
So.
Yes,
Alright.
it's at Disney Plus.
Because I do got access to a D Plus account. I need to check that out. I might watch that tonight, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Guardians 3 to me was what I would consider to be an Endgame-esque movie. Not because you know what I'm talking about. That I'm meaning from back in that day when the MCU was something. Because James Gunn knows how to make a movie, right? And we'll talk about whether he knows how to make a DC movie or not. Even Ghost Rider's agreeing with me that he's not a hack. I don't think he's a hack. I mean, people think James.
I like James Gunn for the most part.
He's a hack, right?
I like him for the most part. He's had some hit and miss, but
Yeah,
you know, I like this DC stuff so far. I like Peacemaker and
I heard Peacemaker was really good. It was a fun one. I heard it was a fun
edgy.
watch.
It's very edgy, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
But same thing with Snyder. You know, it's like hit or miss for me.
Hit or miss for me. Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
know?
All right. So let's talk about. Oh, I hate this.
You want to clear these super chats?
Yes.
Before we move on?
We'll do that. I want to. I was trying to. Let's get that out of the way and let's clear the super chats. Oh, we got some new members.
Oh, sweet.
Two new joined members. Wolverine Snicket.
Wolverine Snicket.
What I'm going to look here at the fan place. Wolverine Snicket became a member at the Padawan level. So thank you so much for being a joined member. This again, really, really appreciate that. And then also another one, James Insco. You know James, your buddy James. You were just talking about James,
that's
right?
my buddy from high school that I've known for a long, long time. Coach,
did I say his last name right? Insco? Insco is correct?
You did. Yep,
All
you
right.
actually got it right.
Another Padawan member.
He's my buddy who I play chess with online late at night. We'll sit there and talk on the phone and sit there and play a bunch of chess games. I'm up on him, I think, by like 4 or 5 games, but he started making a little bit of comeback on me the other night. Good guy.
Well, awesome. Well, James and also Wolverine Snicket. Thank you all for joining as members. This video is for you all.
Every time I see that Arnold and freaking Carl Weathers, you know, hand grip, I'm just like, God, man, them freaking biceps.
I mean, they were jacked. They were jacked up. I mean, they were in their prime, right? I mean, goodness.
Yeah. What a good time for movies. The 80s.
Back in the day.
Oh, God,
Loved it.
Love it.
Well, keeping on going on this book, right? And I did put the book in the chat. I can put it again. Pirate Bob asked for it. I put it in the chat. But keep talking about this. Here's Kevin Feige, and apparently talking about
Matt. While you read this, I gotta let the dog out real quick. But I'm gonna be listening. I'm gonna be listening. So when I come back,
let the dogs out? Nick,
yeah,
let the dogs
I did. I'll be right back.
Talking about it, and Derek, I know you know all about this. Talking about Secret Wars. Is it going to be a reboot? Do you think that's true? Do you think what do you think is next? If you're using your crystal ball, what do you think is next for the MCU and how they continue with the Avengers concept going forward?
I honestly don't know. It seems like they wanted to kind of shift to the younger, more diverse versions of the Avengers. So instead of Iron Man, we're going to have Ironheart. Instead of, Steve Rogers, Captain America, we're going to get Sam Wilson, Captain America. We're going to get like a more diverse MCU. At least that's how I was viewing what they were setting up. And then maybe go younger with some of those characters. Go more into Miss Marvel, You know, like, yeah, to me, I think what they should do, again, I've said this before, is go straight into Fantastic Four, go straight into X-Men, give the Avengers universe a pause for about 5 or 6 years, build out that other universe, and then bring those characters back in. That's what I would do. But it seems like they don't have any better ideas than to just simply reboot everything because they don't know what to do. So they're probably going to end up, you know, recasting every character, recast Iron Man, recast Cap, recast Hulk, recast Thor, you know, into younger characters. And then Secret Wars is just going to reboot the entire universe. And then they're going to start over from, you know, square one. And then that's going to be the new MCU moving forward. So they'll have a different Tony Stark. They'll have a different, you know, Steve Rogers, and they'll kind of continue to build that way. That's what I think is going to happen. They're going to use Secret Wars just to kind of reboot the universe. Kind of how they were saying that you should have used the Flash to reboot the DCEU. They should have used the Flash and Flashpoint for that purpose. I think that's what they're going to do with Secret Wars. I think it's a bad idea, but, you know, that's where Marvel's full of bad ideas lately. That's kind of what the MCU has become.
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah, exactly. No words, right? Because, like,
Yeah,
you know,
because-
again, you go back to the Infinity Saga and what they were doing for the first 3 phases. And, you know, like the information you showed earlier, it was like, 8 films, $150 million opening weekend, you know, no film less than 70 million since 2015. And now they're about to, you know, have this thing, this Marvel's film is going to absolutely, you know, stink up the joint. So, yeah, I just think it's bad for the MCU. They can correct it if they want to, but I think it's going to require a real creative mind behind it. I don't think rebooting with Secret Wars is creative at all. I think it's just showing you're out of ideas. You know, you don't really have any good ideas, so we're just going to reboot and start over, and, you know, that's what we're going to do. You know, I think that's a dumb idea.
So here's a different question, Derek. So is it everything is fixable? I always believe everything is fixable. So how do they fix it? Whether you call it a reboot, whether you call it a continuation, what do they do?
You got to get good storytellers. That's the first step. Again, going back to, you got to bring the people that are passionate about Marvel, you know, like the fans. Okay, like going back to that article I showed, you're bringing in people that aren't passionate about. You got to have a guy that's got a burning desire in him to tell a great Marvel film. He has this, that I've been dreaming about telling this film for, you know, X amount of years, and I've been writing it down, and I've been playing around with this idea. You got to have that guy. You can't get some dude that's just making content for the MCU, because that's what we have right now. Oh, here's a character. Let's go ahead and push this character. We're going to create content for this character. You know, that's all they're doing at this point. They're just creating content, and they're not actually telling good, interesting stories about good, interesting characters. They don't have any idea of what they're doing. So that's why I said you got to get the guy that understands issue 15. You got to bring in the folks that understand the Marvel, you know, comics, from the comics, because that's where it all started. You got to bring in those folks. And yeah, maybe they aren't the best. Maybe they're not the right person to, you know, necessarily put the dialogue together with the action scenes or whatever. Maybe you just look at those folks as consultants, story consultants. Here's where it needs to go. And now you bring in, you know, real screenwriters to kind of shape it all together. But, you know, it takes somebody that actually has a passion for this, you know, and that's the fans. The fans are the ones with the passion. You know, it's not, you know, I'm not saying Kevin Feige's not a fan, but again, he's trusting people that are putting these films together and writing these, you know, movies, and they're just not getting the job done. So you got to go and get people that have passion, the people that care about Marvel, people that care about, you know, the characters that they're trying to present. You know, longtime fans would be the place I would go. I would run focus groups and just bring in people, say, hey, are we doing the right thing? Sit down, watch this movie, watch this television show. What do you think? You know, I would bring in a focus group of people and just, hey, let's sit down and look at this. And then tell me everywhere where we went wrong. Tell me everything we did wrong. And, you know, but they're too proud, I think, to do that. And they think they got it right. You know, Feige thought he had all the answers. And as it turns out, he doesn't have any of the answers beyond the Infinity Saga. Once he had to step on his own away from the Infinity Gauntlet and from Civil War and from everything that he was setting up in the first 3 phases, he's been floundering. So he's got to go back and he's got to talk to some fans. That's my opinion.
Well, yeah, and so I thought I had shared the same article again, and it turns out I didn't, because a lot of these articles are all from that same book.
Yeah.
And just talking about, how do we get back? How do we get back to what people want? Exactly what you were just saying. And it's like, and they're like, oh no, how do we not understand at this? Wow, that's quite a picture, isn't it? My goodness, they did that on purpose. I mean, there's a lot going on there, but it's like at some point, how did they lose their way? This is talking about Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals, and I have to tell you, as much as those movies weren't the most popular, I have to tell you, I think for me, any one of those three movies was better than Doctor Strange 2. And how do I say that? How is that a possible statement that comes out of my mouth, even though I'm notorious for my poop takes, right? But how does that come out of my mouth, right? But I'm saying I think it's true. I believe it's true for me personally, right? That they went so far afield, right, from what we experienced in Endgame.
Yeah.
And how they continue to deliver this content where it's like, oh my, right? I mean, it's like, oof.
Yeah, I mean, think about how like you said, I don't think those films are better than Doctor Strange, but I don't necessarily think they're just all kind of on the same level. They're just all kind of whatever,
I like Shang-Chi. I think for me, Shang-Chi is the best.
I thought Shang-Chi was the best, if you want to call one the best out of those, out of this three, and maybe Doctor Strange and Thor. Yeah, probably Shang-Chi is the best. But even with that being said, it's not a great film. It's nothing compared to what was going on in the first three phases of Marvel. Again, they've just lost their way. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. That's why if you watch any of the MCU content, it all feels disjointed. None of this seems to connect to anything else. All of these post-credit scenes, they're setting up stuff for the future, but they haven't gotten around to any of it, And then you just they don't have an idea of where they should be going. They're just trying to, in my opinion, just make content for people to watch. It's just literally a content factory. We got this brand called Marvel. We want to make money off of this. How do we make money? Well, we got to push content out there. If you consider Daredevil, like how they just announced they got to pull the plug on this Daredevil show. Well, okay. How's this possible? You had 3 great seasons of the Netflix show, and instead of just continuing with that, instead of just moving forward, okay, we're just going to do Daredevil season 4. Oh, no, we're going to reboot everything. We're going to recreate the wheel. We're going to, we'll cast Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. We'll cast them because that's what we want to. We'll bring those guys over. But we're going to kill off Foggy and Karen Page. We're going to go and make a courtroom drama. Like, what are they doing? How is this possible that you guys are messing this up this bad? It was such an easy, just continue it. Just keep going with Daredevil. That was all you needed to do. And they couldn't figure that out. They messed that up. I always said it's like Marvel could mess up making a bowl of cereal. They could literally just say, we got to pour some orange juice in the cereal. Whoa, what are you doing? Why are you putting orange juice in there? You're supposed to put milk. Marvel is messing up easy stuff like Daredevil. So if they're messing up Daredevil, what do you think they're going to do with the rest of the MCU? They can't get anything right at this point.
So I have to tell you, I've never seen any of the Netflix like Daredevil.
There's one thing to watch. Just watch Daredevil. The other ones you can probably leave.
I've heard.
Daredevil is literally the best television Marvel superhero television show ever, in my opinion.
But you know what I'm going to say next, and you're probably going to cringe when I say this. For me, it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? My epitome
not bad.
Of the best Marvel series they've done is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., followed by, Agent Carter, and some of the rest of it. And everyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, how could you like that? I'm like, well, look at what we got on. Am I really that far afield now? Look at what we got on freaking Disney Plus.
I see Pirate Bob said Jessica Jones was great. Jessica Jones was good season 1. I like Jessica Jones season 1. Season 2, nope, not at all. Yeah, it's to me again. That's just my personal opinion. I think Daredevil is hands down the best superhero television show ever. Okay, best season of television I ever watched in the superhero genre was Daredevil season 1. You know, and then Daredevil season 3 not far behind. And Daredevil season 2 is okay. You know, first 4 or 5 episodes are all right, and it kind of gets shaky, and then it picks it up back at the end. But yeah, they messed that up. They were going to mess Daredevil up until they finally realized, oh shoot, we're screwing this up, and then they had to pull the plug. You know, after 6 or 7 episodes were already shot, so they've just been burning through money, thinking they were doing something amazing, kind of like Quantum Mania. We thought we had a banger, and then next thing you know, oh shoot, this is absolute trash. We got to pull the plug. We got to go in a completely different direction. That just tells you what you need to know. Marvel needs to get fans involved. They need to get actual fans involved at this point, or actual comic writers. Maybe not fans necessarily, but they got to get some comic writers in there if they want to get this thing turned around. So that's how you fix it. You start off by just, hey, we just got to tell good stories again. Let's get the comic fans. Let's get some comic writers. Let's get some focus groups going. Let's everybody sit down and talk about what it is that we're doing, because we're throwing $200 or $300 million at each of these joints, and ain't none of them coming out good.
Well, awesome. I'm with you. So before we poop on the DCU, because the next thing we're going, oh my gosh, it's like we're trying to keep it on the up, but we're going down. I'm gonna clear a super chat from Special Ray, and then we're gonna go on to. We got some things to say about the DCEU. I don't even know what to talk about. But here's Special Ray disagreeing with me about what I don't know, because everything I say is the best. But he's disagreeing with me about something. But I love Rami. What was I talking about?
It must be Sam Raimi.
Yeah,
Sam Raimi.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but what was I talking about?
Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man.
Oh,
Sam
Spider-Man.
Raimi.
Talking about
Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield and
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fan, but I know a lot of people are. For me, it's Andrew. It's always been Andrew, and it got reinforced. But yeah, Special Ray, so great to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. My goodness sakes, been a minute. Biased is fine. We're all personally biased. That's what it's all about. Rock Lee for $4.99. They need to hire fans and folks that know how to write dialogue. Isn't it strange? Isn't it strange that in the recent things, at least on Disney Plus, the dialogue's been a little crappy.
Oh, it's been terrible.
It's been a little cringy.
Horrible.
It's like, who is writing this? Like a first grader? A person that just got out of writing 101. Actually, I don't even think
it's a whole lot of diversity hires. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I've been looking into this stuff, and it's a lot of diversity hires. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe it.
You know, it's and I don't think we have this article, but there was an article that I found that said what's missing is the writer's room. Right? We have too many singular writers for these series, whether it's Marvel, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's if you think about the traditional linear television show, it's a writer's room. It always has been, right? And it's not like a gazillion writers, but it's at least more than one person, bouncing ideas off each other and all that. And I even seen in the same article talking about why it is that Skeleton Crew, from a Star Wars perspective, might be a pleasant surprise because they employed a writer's room, right? John Watts and company. They didn't just go it alone. They're like, you know what? We could use some help. Let's bring some folks in, right? And let's have that happen. And I think whether it's fans or whether it's just people who are familiar with the territory, right? You don't know the territory. Right, you need to have folks that are into it that can contribute, in my opinion, that can contribute, positively to the process. Too much soloing it, whether it's I call him Favno, whether it's Fabno, sorry, Ghost Rider, whether it's Favno, whether it's Filoni in recently experienced in Ahsoka,
Yeah.
you just need some help. Just need some help, in my opinion. So Rock Lee, thank you for that for $4.99. Lou Capadona is here, another one who's always supported the channel for $5. Appreciate you. Good to see you. MCU lost its audience by forcing female and diverse characters to broaden the audience with no regard for lore and no respect for established characters.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I have to agree as well, right? And it's just what I was just rambling on about a second ago, right? It's not grounded. It doesn't feel like it's grounded in what folks were expecting, and so that way it feels aggressive, right? It feels not what
Right.
it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. And then when
No,
you're
and that-
talking about like female and diverse characters, you still have to bring it in an organic way. You know, it has to feel natural. It can't feel like somebody's shoving an agenda down your throat. It should feel natural to the way that the stories have been told this entire time. We're bringing in another character. This character naturally fits. She's not coming in like Carol Danvers, super powered here to just whoop ass, just destroy everything. No, she's just you're bringing her in slow. You know, you're not just slamming her right up in there. Oh, she's the reason that we're going to be able to defeat Thanos. You know, that just felt so out of place, you know, for that whole narrative just to kind of be forced on us, you know. And that was one of the things that kind of took away from Endgame. I wish they I wish in Endgame they had just kind of sidelined her for a great deal of that film. But then when she shows up, you know, it's like, yeah, the savior's here. And I was just like, man, I don't even buy this, you know. And I think everybody in the theater, when that moment happened, everybody just, you know, like you could just hear the groans from the crowd because nobody was buying that. You know, it felt forced. And so, yeah, you can't force things. You can't force diverse characters.
Or when all the female superheroes all showed up together and happened to be in the same spot on the battlefield.
They did have a moment. Didn't they have like they had like a moment? I'm with you all. It's
just forced, man.
They had a moment.
Even in Mando chapter 16, when they were raiding Moff Gideon's ship, you know, you had the all female cast running in there.
Oh yeah.
Which I still love the episode, but you know, that kind of just stuck out where it's like it felt forced. It's like, you know, the other dude that was with the Bo-Katan and them, he did come back around, you know, and nobody else was there. You know, Boba Fett obviously wasn't there. It was just all the females. It's like girl power rushing in to save the day, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm you know, it let me play a video before I get off on a rant. So thanks to everyone for those super chats. This video is I'm gonna play my favorite. This video is for you. Here we go. Nick knows which one it is 100%.
And they give us Pee Wee Herman bikes.
I don't know. I love that. That was 100% authentic.
Classic.
So we've been pooping on the MCU for a minute. Why not DC? Why not DC?
Might as well.
Well, it's equal opportunity pooping.
Yeah.
So here we go. So what do we think about this? Jason Momoa, Aquaman. What's happening? You know, this article. By the way, Inside the Magic, not my favorite, but this is not. And we have a giant freaking robot article later as well. Both of them did a pretty good job with these two articles, I have to say. But this one is just talking about, you know, them sort of, again, as we thought they were, sunsetting the characters that we've loved playing these, you know, the actors that we've loved playing these characters, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's Superman, whether it's Aquaman, whether it's Wonder Woman, whether it's Batman, right? And you know, just for this urge or desire or plan that James Gunn apparently has coming soon to an article near you, to start again. And so we're talking now about this Aquaman 2 movie that's coming. And there's so much drama about what happened on the set with Amber Heard and all the rest of this, but still the movie is coming. I mean, what do you think, Nick? I mean, it's for me, it's heartbreaking to see this happen for these folks, whether it's the actors, whether it's the production folks, whether it's everything else that's put so much into these movies. And now it's like, who cares? Right? Who cares about any of this?
Yeah, the thing is, they kind of screwed up, in my opinion, because, you know, when they were deciding to do the whole reboot, the franchise thing, you know, they should have just not even said anything about that. They should have just been doing it behind the scenes and let these movies played out. And then after Aquaman 2 dropped, then announce, hey, you know, we're rebooting, we're getting all new people, we're starting over with the DCU. Because at this point, like, what's the point of going and seeing these? I mean, unless you're just a huge Snyderverse fan and you really like these characters and stuff. But at the end of the day, none of it's continuing. So it's like, why go spend the money at the theater, you know? Yeah. And on top of that, the movies haven't been all that great either. Yeah. I mean, Blue Beetle bombed hard, freaking Black Adam bombed hard, The Flash, which is surprisingly bombed hard. I thought that one actually might do good just because Keaton was coming back. But it didn't. It bombed as well. And Aquaman 2 will bomb as well. It's just over for this iteration of the DCU. And we've known it's coming. You know, they talked about keeping some of these people on. Henry Cavill was supposed to stay on. Ben Affleck was supposed to stay. They were all supposed to stay on. And slowly, one by one, starting with Henry Cavill, they started pushing him out. And people were getting upset when Cavill was then reported leaving, being basically kicked off of any future DCU stuff as Superman. And the dominoes just started to fall. And now you got this huge mess and a lot of pissed off fans that were huge fans of the Snyderverse and these characters and the actors playing these characters, that now they're just like, it's over. So, you know, what's the point now? And I think that's where a lot of people are at. Like, I'll check this movie out, but I'm not going to the theater to spend money on a ticket and popcorn and candy or whatever and a drink and all, and sneak my alcohol in to mix in with it. You know, I'm not doing all that for these movies because, you know, this iteration's over and done with.
Yeah. Derek, what do you think? You buying, you selling? You're an Aquaman fan?
Once James Gunn announced the reboot, all of the 2023 DC films were going to flop. I called that out at the very beginning. Said, yeah, all of these films are going to flop. Every last one of them, including Aquaman. Even though Aquaman made $1 billion, I think, on the last one, right? And that last one made $1 billion. Yep. So I was like, this is going to be you know, opportunity. But you know, James Gunn said, well, we're going to reboot and we're going to start all the way over from scratch. So it's like, okay, you know, and look, I'm a James Wan fan. You know, I love James Wan. I love his horror films. I think he's a good director. I think he's a good writer. I enjoyed the first Aquaman for the most part. You know, I didn't think it was a great movie, but I thought it was cool. Yeah. And I thought that this was I thought this film would do, you know, decent. You know, maybe not as well as the first one, but you know, once they announce, oh yeah, this is going to be a reboot, and we're starting all the way over. Oh, okay, well, that's it. You know, so my interest is, I don't know what my interest is. I don't think I have a lot of interest in this. You know, outside of just you know, it's a James Wan movie, and I'll check it out.
So speaking of James Wan, I brought up the next article. While speaking with Empire, he said that he pitched the first Aquaman movie as a romancing in the zones type thing. While he always knew that the second would be an outright buddy comedy, like Tango and Cash or Men in Black. I wanted to do Tango Cash, Wan said. Jason plays Arthur larger than life. Patrick plays a straight man. It's not unlike Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones did in Men in Black. Like Tommy, Patrick plays it dry but very funny. And so,
a comedic Aquaman in a buddy cop movie. And we've seen that in the trailer a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
It's just
I've always wondered, like, what do you do with Aquaman? I've never been the biggest Aquaman fan anyway, so it's kind of tough.
Same.
So like, what do you do with the character?
We're all three in the same pod of that piece, right?
Like, remember, Aquaman used to be a joke. That used to be like the joke DC character that people made fun of. You know, I remember the Family Guy, they had that one bit where Aquaman was in the water and some woman is getting jumped on the beach. And, you know, Aquaman is sitting out there saying, well, you guys won't come out here in the water and fight me, will you? They're like, no, we'll stay right here on the beach. You know, I remember they did that joke because that's kind of the way Aquaman has always been. He's always been kind of like that, you know, whatever character. But I like I said, I liked the first Aquaman. It was okay. You know, I didn't mind it. And, you know, but now it's not part of a universe. It's not a part of a cinematic universe. And it's just a film. I don't really care, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like James Wan, so I'll probably be interested in it for that reason.
Yeah, you know, and Tem's in it, and you know, I didn't like the way they pseudo set it up. It must have been in the end credits of The Flash, right, where he's like drunk again, he's falling down in the puddle.
Yeah.
And all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like this to me. Maybe I was just channeling my inner self, right? But for me, I'm like, this is not the way to set up a movie. Right, it just seems trashy, right? I mean, even though it's supposed to be fun and all the rest of it, I'm kind of like, no, this is not good for me. Not good for me. All right, this is
the clip Derek was talking about. This is freaking hilarious. I saw this episode and I was dying when I saw it.
Oh, this is from Family Guy. Yeah.
I'll pause it. Just it's a short clip. It's less than a minute long. And I'll pause it a couple times, but this is freaking hilarious if you guys have not seen this.
Damn fool! You're more useless than Aquaman!
Help! Somebody help! Rape!
Scream all you want. Nobody can hear you out here.
Oh, no.
You're as useless as Aquaman. Scream all you want. Nobody can help you out here.
Here he comes.
Man.
There he is.
Hey, let her go. Or what? Or I don't know, man, but you're lucky you're not doing that over here in the ocean, or else, all right, it would stop you.
For God's sake, help! Do something!
This is so bad.
Oh, if you don't like
he threw a star.
what I just did,
If you don't like starfish, you're gonna be mad at
you're
what I
in for
just
it.
did.
5 fish coming to help. Oh, here they are.
He's hurting!
You shouldn't have let them on.
Maybe you shouldn't have let him on.
Hilarious, man.
Family Guy is freaking hilarious, man. I
Love
love
it.
that. We actually did the Family Guy Star Wars movies on Discord, and you know what? That's actually would be a good thing for Patreon for people that haven't seen those, because those are freaking hilarious, especially the first one. The first one was the best one out of the Family Guy Star Wars ones. That is hilarious.
Yeah,
but the second one had some good stuff. I like where she's like, "You scruffy nerf herder," and then Peter punches her in the face. Only we can use that word.
It is really good.
Oh man. and I got the unedited they don't bleep out any of the words or anything. It's freaking hilarious.
And so, speaking of Star Wars, it's time. It's
Oh, is it time? Last topic of the night.
It is time. Last topic of the night. We're going to talk about Matt Vaughn. Matt Vaughn has said so many things about so much. Derek's ready. And of course, he had some things to say about rebooting, right? About rebooting. And this is one of those things. This is let me pause this before and I'll get it. It's already Kudo. That's right. And so, it's one of those things where when I first saw this clip, I was like, okay, this could be kind of good. And then I watched and I'm like, okay, this is kind of not good. So we're going to talk about, I'm not going to put up the article. I'm going to put up the YouTube. This is on the, it's on Josh Horowitz's, it must be Happy, Sad, Confused, right? It's on Josh Horowitz's podcast. There's been a lot going on online. Nick and Coach did a great video about this earlier. Watch it on the channel. I thought it was a really, really, not that they're not all good, but I thought it was a really good one.
Every single one of our videos are excellent.
Yeah, they couldn't 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
10.
Yeah, but I'm going to put this YouTube up because I don't know that anyone's actually seen him actually talk about this, the body language, the rest of it. So I'm going to share it up and we'll talk about, the context is Matt Vaughn talking about Star Wars and his ability to do a Star Wars script and how he would treat that. And oh wow, he had a lot to say about it. So here we go. All right, that's that. I'm gonna make that bigger.
Loading.
All right. Here we go. You got it?
Yep.
Here we go.
Film that was formative to you early on. Would you ever do Star Wars? Would that be tough to say no to?
Yeah. Well, now not so much.
It's been tainted a little bit. It's a little.
Well, it's not been tainted, and I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not going to.
It's been tainted.
It's been tainted. I'm not going to go into that. It's
Yeah.
like I can't piss them off in case they want to actually call me.
In case, right? Exactly.
It's a
Exactly. In
little
case
bit
they want to work with
tainted.
you.
It's been a little bit tainted.
Everybody in Hollywood knows Star Wars is screwed and it all
Absolutely.
sucks. There's literally been directors and writers and people literally come out and be like, "No way, I'm doing the Star Wars thing with Disney Star Wars."
It's
No way.
been tainted. All right, here we go.
But I would say, for me, doing a Star Wars movie is to play with the characters that I loved. So if they said to me, "We'll reboot. Do you want to reboot Star Wars and actually have Luke Skywalker, Solo, and Vader, and you do your version of it?" Everyone would say you're an idiot to try, but that would excite me.
Oh my gosh. You
hmm?
have a death wish. That's so scary to even contemplate.
And so he sounds like a fan, right? I just giving him some deference. He kind of sounds like a fan, right?
Yeah.
He knows. He's been into it. He's probably our age or older, right? He knows what it's all about. But the reboot is a problem.
Yeah, if I was a director and writer, and a huge fan of Star Wars like I am, no way would I even touch trying to reboot Star Wars and retell that story with all new characters or all new actors playing the same characters that everybody already knows. It is, in my opinion, a lose-lose situation for everybody involved trying to do this. There's some movies that you just don't touch as far as rebooting. Star Wars is one of those. I saw in the chat earlier. Yeah, I have boxes. Said Star Wars 100 Years of Purification, and talking about doing the reboot in after like 100 years. At that point in time, when this whole generation that was alive when at least one of the first 6 movies was put out, once they're all dead and gone, yeah, go ahead and reboot Star Wars and do that. But you try doing that right now, no.
I wouldn't even do it then.
Neither. But if everybody's dead and gone,
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
It's sort of like,
Yeah, that just shows you how like uncreative, these guys are. Is that's where you go with it. With you have an idea, or would you do a Star Wars film? What would you do? I would reboot it. Like what? Like you don't have any better concepts, anything else you could do other than just reboot it and just tell the same exact story all over again. That's what I'm saying. These guys, they don't want to do anything but create content for a franchise. They say, okay, here's a franchise, whether it be Marvel, whether it be Star Wars, we just want to create content. That's all Lucasfilm is interested in. That's all a lot of these guys are interested in. They just want to create content and give their take. They're not interested in the fans' point of view. They don't care. They figure we're always going to be here. That's what it is. We're always going to be here. We're always going to show up and buy and purchase and go watch it in movies. They don't care that we're tired of this. They don't care. it's like, wait, what would a fan be interested in? What kind of a story would a fan be interested in? You heard what he said. I just want to play with the characters that I grew up with.
Yeah.
I want to play. That sounds like Ryan Johnson. Johnson said the exact same kind of crap. I just want to play in the sandbox of Star Wars, and just piddle around like he's out in the backyard with his toys.
Yeah.
But wait,
What about
wait,
the fan?
wait, there's more. Wait, there's more.
Okay, all right. Keep going, keep going.
Okay, all right. Here we go. Here we go.
Wait, there's more. There's more.
I'm sorry.
Fun.
Casting?
That's yeah. Why not? Bond. Do you mind Bond?
That's
if,
true. That's true.
you asked me who's going to play the next Wolverine.
That's true.
Why are these characters so hallowed that from 77 you can't redo it for a new audience? And that's the story. I mean, Star Wars is the Skywalker family.
Yeah.
All right. And that's where I think they've gone wrong, because they've forgot that it's what and
Star Wars. So he's talking about. So now he's mixing into recasting, right? And he's also, reasserting it's about the Skywalkers, right? Which we know Lucasfilm has said recently, it's not about the Skywalkers anymore. But okay,
Yeah.
fine.
It's
Right,
about
but he's talking. He's mixing
anybody
in
can be a
recasting.
Skywalker or a Force
Yeah.
user now.
He's mixing in recasting and the Skywalkers. Again, he's clearly a fan. What do you all think about putting the reboot stuff aside? What about if he wanted to do a post Return of the Jedi story that's not in the Mandoverse? Where obviously, I guess it has to be in the Mandoverse, but you know what I'm talking about. That's post Return of the Jedi. That's got Luke and Leia and Han. Is he the guy? You all think, or it's still a loser? You think it's still a loser? If
Nobody's
he's
the
not
guy.
rebooting it, you think? What do you think?
Nobody's the guy.
There's no guy.
Any guy that you get. Scorsese's not the guy. You get the best director, the best writers. No, you do not reboot or touch these characters. Nobody is the guy. In my opinion.
So in your opinion, there's no more Luke, Han, or Leia.
Not telling the original story. Now, as far as moving forward, if he would do something with them, like say in between Empire and Jedi, or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe telling a different story, and making sure I'm not for recasting. I don't like recasting those iconic characters because, like, when I watched the Solo movie, I just didn't feel like I was watching Solo. It wasn't Harrison Ford. Now, when I watched the clips on YouTube of the fan deepfakes, I was like, man, if it would have been like this, I might have been able to actually enjoy this movie. But I just couldn't get into it personally because it wasn't Harrison Ford. It's just too iconic of characters to recast. And if you can do a good deep fake and spend the money to have that done and have somebody that can voice those characters from that point in time, man, I'd be all for it. Like, I would throw all the money in the world at that project to do the deep fake and all that. If you had somebody that could write a good story, maybe Matthew Vaughn could do it. I know this Argyle movie that's coming out looks pretty interesting.
Yeah,
with Henry Cavill. I'm looking forward to checking that out.
And it's going to be in the same universe as the Kingsman.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
It's sort of like a James Bond type, esque movie.
Looks good.
So I don't know. Maybe I would be willing to give the dude a shot. He definitely couldn't do worse than the people that's there already. I know that much. So
before I opine further, Derek, what are your thoughts? Matt Vaughn, Star Wars, recasting?
No,
nothing. None of the above. None of the above.
Want them. Here's what I want. I want them to leave the Skywalker saga alone. It's like every time they touch this part of Star Wars, they screw it up. They ruin it. They start making the characters not act like the characters. They got their own silly take on who Luke is or what was going on in his mind and all of that. No, get away from this. If they're going to do any Star Wars, in my opinion, get as far away from this. Either go way back into the past or forward into the future. I don't want them messing with the original trilogy and their characters anymore. No, I feel like that stuff is off limits. You know, Luke, Han, Leia, Vader, leave them alone. Just get away from them. That's my opinion, because they haven't done it right. Everybody that comes in, they think they know what the fans are looking for. They don't know. You know, we got that Obi-Wan. I'm like, I was excited for Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is the show that said, you know what, I don't want to mess with this anymore. Leave this alone. Because I was excited for Obi-Wan, and then I was just like, what the heck was this? I was excited for this, and now I wish you would just leave this era alone. You know, like if you're going to tell stories like these little pocket stories like Andor was, where it's kind of like, okay, it's over off to the side and it's really not involving the original trilogy characters. Okay, I can live with that, you know, but if you're doing anything dealing with those characters, no, get away from it. And as a matter of fact, just get all the way out of this, because then you start stepping over the canon. You start stepping over the lore. You're tripping over stuff. And it's like, wait, this doesn't make sense. You know, just go to Knights of the Old Republic. It's right there. It hasn't been adapted yet. Go do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's some great characters out there. Do that, or just move forward into the future. You have an entire galaxy to explore, different characters. You can show the Jedi in a different light. You can show the Sith. You can do so much with Star Wars. Go 200, 300 years into the future. I have a video coming out about this in a minute, so I don't want to give too much of my ideas.
No, it's good.
Y'all gonna have to watch the video that I have coming out in a minute. But
if you aren't sub to the DA, go sub.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, just we got to get away from Star Wars. Has to grow. Star Wars has to get away from, but still stay with George Lucas's vision. I don't want it to grow outside of George Lucas's original vision. I think the vision that George Lucas had is extremely important. That's what makes it Star Wars. But you can't keep stepping over the lore. That's the problem that I have.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I 100% agree with what Derek was saying, and Derek makes a good point. If you're going to move way forward in time or way back in time before the Skywalker saga and all that, you got to keep George's original spirit of Star Wars, his original vision. You know, like I know a lot of people like Andor, but for me, it was missing that George Lucas spirit in that sort of, it was too serious of a movie. That wasn't enough lightheartedness to it.
The whimsy was missing.
Yeah. You know, I mean, if you just go back and watch just the very first Star Wars film and then go watch Andor, that's like two completely different visions of Star Wars. And I'm not saying that to try to crap on Andor, because I don't have an issue with the writing of Andor. I just have an issue with for me personally, the feeling of Andor not feeling like Star Wars to me. I know a lot of people out there 100% disagree with me, and that's perfectly okay, Matt Rissman. But yeah, I agree 100% with what Derek's saying there. They got to keep to that original spirit and vision of George Lucas Star Wars.
Yeah, I could prattle on for an hour about Andor. So let me go back. Let me go back here and he has more to say. Matt Vaughn has more to say. So let's hear what he has to say.
It's done brilliantly in the TV, but it needs an epic new film, and that's what I would do. I would
agree.
Everyone's going to go batshit crazy, but let's bring it on, because if you want a new generation, make the movie for them. The old generation can hopefully make it well enough that they go, okay, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so again, I that's the end of that. So he said it needs an epic movie, right? He gets it, right? He said he was being kind, I think. He said, "Oh, it's been brilliant. The TV has been brilliant." Okay, that's debatable, right? But he's like, it needs an epic movie, and I'd like to be that guy. You know what I mean? And I hope that it attracts a newer audience, but I also hope it is something that the older audience. It sounds so negative when I say the OGs, right?
The OG
the original
fans.
audience, yes, also would be there for. And so again, he said some things that I also feel like are a bit shocking, but he also said some other things that to me, it's like, okay, well, it sounds like he's a fan, but for me, it's all about the execution and what he would be allowed to do, right? And how Lucasfilm would shape that or not, or enable it or not. right? You know, in so much as you know, there's an article that he commented, I think, on also on, you know, Del Toro's The Rise of the Jabba the Hutt. Or oh no, that's a different article that's talking about Justin Simeon said, you know, I've still never heard that I'm off Lando, right? Just like, you know, Benicio didn't quite hear he was off, you know, Jabba the Hutt, and that's very, you know, that's very common. And so I think Matt Vaughn is just saying, you know, this is what I would do, you know, but I don't. Undertones is I don't think I want to work for them. I don't think they want me working for them. I don't think I want to work for them. You know what I mean? In under the context of a Star Wars movie. And so, what do y'all think? Right? We have so many great directors that are out there. We have so many people out there that are consummate professionals, right, in this space. But they seem to they're turned off, right? They're turned off about working for Disney / Lucasfilm. I don't know. I think it's a shame. What do y'all think? What do y'all think?
I let me gather my thoughts a little bit more. Go ahead, Derek.
I like the fact that people are, you know, kind of, you know, careful when they're talking about Star Wars. I like it because they know that the fan base is rabid and we're going to chew and bite your head off if you do it wrong. So I want the kind of talented person that's going to come in understanding that, and they're going to say, you know what, we got to do this right. And Star Wars is without a doubt the biggest film franchise ever. And we can't just come in here, you know, doing whatever it is that we want to do. So, yeah, I do want to see certain filmmakers. I would love certain filmmakers to take a stab at Star Wars and, you know, see what they could do. But at the same time, I don't want some kind of wild, you know, thing that's just way outside of the box, you know, when it comes to Star Wars. Like, you know, how you said you don't care for Andor because it's not necessarily, you know, fitting within the Star Wars tone, I guess is what most people feel. Like the tone isn't there. And see, I'm the type that's like
Nick. That's not me. That's Nick.
No, I'm sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, I don't mind the fact that it's a different tone because I've always felt like, you know, if you're a novel reader and you read the books had a different tone than the original, you know, films.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm not a reader.
Okay.
So
so for me, I was like, oh, this felt like Andor almost felt like a book tone, a tone of a Star Wars novel, not necessarily with, you know, the cute droids and, you know, the funny aliens and you know, all of that kind of stuff. I felt like Star Wars or Andor kind of matched that, and I was okay with that.
I can actually see that because I did read Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy back when I was growing up, and now that you mentioned that, I can actually see that for sure.
Yeah, I just want different. I don't mind different tones. I think that Star Wars can appeal. Like I didn't mind the Clone Wars. In Clone Wars, they had, you know, it was a lot of silly episodes of the Clone Wars. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in Rebels. And there were things that I didn't mind about that. So, and then there's George Lucas and his tone and what he did. And I didn't mind. I obviously didn't mind that. But I think that every filmmaker has a different vision or version, as long as they understand what George was trying to accomplish and what George's vision was in terms of, hey, you know, I'm setting up really what Star Wars is. And what I think a lot of people enjoy about it is it's the mythology. It's the, you know, it's the myth making. That's what we really get connected to. And I think that's what Disney has completely forgotten about. And they think they're just making, you know, oh, we're just making space battles and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you guys will remember.
It's not about spaceships, DA. It's not about spaceships.
But you understand.
That's what George said.
Right. But he's correct because you had so many different shows and movies and everything that had spaceships and had adventure and had action, and none of them were Star Wars. So what made Star Wars Star Wars? You know, it was, you know, the hero's journey, the myth making that George Lucas and then the characters, of course. The characters were amazing. George understood characters. So to me, you just got to go back to the roots of Star Wars and build from there. And, you know, there's tons of filmmakers out there I'm sure can get the job done. But yeah, they would have to, you know, figure out, okay, what story am I going to tell? And does this story fit with, you know, what George Lucas had in mind? And as long as they can do that, they'll be just fine, you know. But you know, I think again, they just got to get away from the Skywalker saga and tell their own stories. Quit trying to, you know, rest on the laurels of this, you know, oh, well, we'll throw Luke Skywalker or we'll throw, you know, Han Solo in a movie, and now everybody's going to come and want to watch this. And no, we already saw that that's not the case. You know, he had a movie called Solo and nobody went and checked it out. So to me, that tells you everything you need to know. They got to start telling good stories again. Star Wars will be fine as long as they tell good stories.
Well, and also I think on this point, they need to differentiate somebody who knows how to write a good story from someone who knows how to show run television, right? Because we're so missing the understanding of how do you show run television, and that person doesn't need to have written a thing, for goodness sake, right? I mean, have someone who's written it, you know, and has that story and the characters are developed, and then bring in a showrunner who understands how to do episodic television, right? It doesn't have to be Tony Gilroy, right? It can be any other person who's still show running television, because those people exist.
Yeah,
for goodness sake.
There has not been one single Disney Plus Star Wars show that has been episodic television. Not
100%.
one single one. And when we were getting Mando, I thought that that's kind of what it was going to be. Each week was going to be a new adventure, you know, a new bounty, a new thing. And then there would be, you know, this overarching story that kind of took place little by little throughout each episode, like most episodic television does. Same thing with Book of Boba Fett. I was like, oh, well, Book of Boba Fett. Like each week's going to be a chapter in this book, you know, of all this stuff with this overarching story. No, it was none of that. And not even Mando. And I liked the first 2 seasons of Mando for the most part. You know, even though I still had tons of issues with it, there was some great moments in those first 2 seasons. But you know, it's just like they don't have people there that know what they're doing with these properties, whether it be us talking about Marvel, DC, Star Wars. This is like a industry problem, industry wide, because they're just not getting any of this stuff right. And I've said this in the past so many times, their pulse or their finger is so far from the fans' pulse and the audience's pulse that they don't get it. Like we were talking about earlier, that when Derek was talking about it, about, you know, when they were talking about Quantum Mania, they thought that was going to be a banger, and it flopped. You know, nobody went and saw it. It's like, get people in there that know this world, that know these characters, that know the spirit of these IPs. You know, like literally, me and Coach have said this many times. Like Lucasfilm, hire us. We'll get other people like Robert Meyer Burnett and Nerdrotic and other people that are Critical Drinker, Mauler, Robot Head, other people that know good stuff and can basically look at the stuff you're trying to do and be like, this doesn't work, and here's why. This is why you need to change it. You know, not saying that all these that the fans would do better, because you always get that argument. Oh, if you can do better, why don't you go out there and do it? You're just a YouTuber out here complaining. If you can do better, go do better. I don't got millions of dollars to go do a project and the rights to do any of this stuff. So your argument on that is stupid. But these studios that own these IPs really need to look at bringing in the knowledgeable fan base that knows what the fans want, that are like, the fans will love this, do this, you know, like it needs to be like write this. And then after you write it, let me look at it and be like, oh, that sucks. Like maybe change this here, change this. That would be awesome, you know, and work with them. You know, it should be a team thing, you know, and if they would do that and just take the time to do it and do it right, man, fans would flock to the theaters and they would throw their money at them in droves.
Nick, if you needed like professionals, right? Think about it from a standpoint of fans are the professionals Those are the ones that dig into the lore. They understand the fan or the franchise. They understand all the characters. We used to talk about this stuff before YouTube. We used to get on websites and we used to argue back and forth with all kinds of people about Star Wars.
AOL chat boards.
Hell yeah. We used to get into that stuff, man, way before
Yeah.
this YouTube and social media stuff. Way back in the day when the internet first started, I used to be a part of so many Star Wars chat boards. And we would just sit there and argue about this stuff morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
These are the people that need to be working on this stuff. It's like if I'm looking for an expert in any field, let's say I need to get some plumbing work done in my house. Do you think I'm going to go to some guy that's the first time on the job plumber? No, I'm trying to find a guy that's going to get the job done. An expert plumber, a professional. Okay.
Yeah.
You need professionals in the rooms with these guys writing this material.
Yeah.
Or Derek, you're going to find a company that's a well-renowned company, and maybe they're going to send a first-timer out, but they're coming with someone who's helping them. They're coming with a teacher. They're coming with they are their Padawan.
Right.
And I'm going back to this again because I just feel like I have to, and it's here on the screen. This is a different story that I put up here in regards to the fact that Disney, really pressured both Marvel and Lucasfilm to release, to announce even before they're ready. But where I'm going with my rant now is why not have Favreau with Filoni for this, or Tony Gilroy for that matter, right? You have access to these folks who have been in this industry and who have really mastered their craft now for many, many, many years, right? And yet the appearance is they just let Filoni flap in the breeze.
Yeah.
Just flap. His first time show running and doing everything himself, right? With no help at all, no writer's room, no Favreau, just okay, yeah, he's the guy. Why? It makes absolutely no sense.
None at all. Yeah. I think a lot of these guys are like Lucasfilm and Marvel were, like you said it before, Matt, that you need a showrunner. You need actual showrunners for these television shows. These were movie studios. Lucasfilm is a movie studio for the most part. They've done, they did, animation, with the Clone Wars. They did the Young Indiana Jones, I think, back in the day. But they were primarily a film studio. So what they were doing is they were taking these filmmakers, and then these filmmakers were trying to make a television show, and they were skipping steps. Instead of going through a showrunner and using a showrunner in a writer's room, oh, nah, me and Dave can write this, and we'll just throw it out there, and there it is.
And then chop it up. We'll basically make a movie and chop it up into episodes.
That's what they did. What they did. They just made a movie
because they don't know,
they chopped it up instead of getting a showrunner to do it.
Because they have yet to evidence the fact that they understand how to make a television freaking show.
Yeah.
Although some people have told me this new Goosebumps thing is better, and they're but I don't understand how you run a streaming platform and you don't understand how to make television, because that's what it is. It's television. Right. And I've watched so many. I know we talked about One Piece ad nauseum, right? But The Fall of the House of Usher, so many other things I've watched on Netflix have been superlative. And now Bosch is back on what is Freevee, but it was Prime, right? And Upload is back. But these are television shows. These are excellently curated television shows. Because Mike Connolly is still involved, in writing these stories as far as Bosch goes, and Upload is an original, and they're reinventing Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know why Disney Plus doesn't understand the basics of making television. It boggles my mind. They own ABC. ABC has known how to do. Oh my God, ABC.
They have television showrunners there.
So long.
But you got to remember, it's it's Lucasfilm that's doing it. It's outside of those confines. Yeah, you got guys that made the Disney Channel shows and ABC, but again, you got to bring them in and say, okay, you're going to start working with these guys over in Lucasfilm. It's like it's a separate department, just like Marvel Studios is like a separate department. But you got to get those guys from ABC and from all the channels. You got to get them into those studios and say, okay, you guys are doing it all wrong. And I guess they're trying to figure it out now. Like I said, they just pulled the plug on Daredevil after recording 6 or 7 episodes and wasting all of that money. Now they're going to pull the plug on.
How much money have they spent?
That's so embarrassing, man. Can you imagine? It's like we poured so much money and time and energy and effort into this show, and we're just gonna have to pull the plug on it. That's just got to be the worst, man. But this is what happens when you're so full of your ideology and you don't really care about it, and you just think the fans don't know what they're talking about. And then the fans were right all along.
Well, I think also Secret Invasion was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
Not just for me, as Dart Simpus, me, right? Secret Invasion was such a disappointment, right? And I actually have had a good time watching Loki, right? But I'm not sure I'm enjoying watching Loki because the story is good. As much as I love Hiddleston, Wilson, and Short Round, interacting together, right? I think for me, the enjoyment I get from Loki is all about the prowess of the actors and the fact that they're superlative. It has nothing to do with. And Jonathan Majors showed up in the last one, playing a Kang variant, also very, very good, right? Very, very good. But the story is shit. I mean, it's not a great story. Right, it's so confusing.
I don't even know what's going on. I know, but I'm trying to figure it out.
It lost my mother. My mother loved One Piece. 10 out of 10. She gave it a very refreshing set. She gave it a 10 out of 10. She said, "I hope Nick liked it." He's liking it.
I like it so far.
But she's not. She can't get into Loki because she's like, I don't. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it is.
I'm not even going to start Loki. I'll never watch season 2. I watched season 1. I watched all season 1. But after watching season 1, I literally have no interest in watching season 2. Are you watching it, Derek?
What's that?
Are you watching Loki season 2?
I got through the first 2 episodes. I haven't gotten to episode 3 yet.
What do you think so far?
It's well acted.
Mm-hmm.
It's and the dialogue and like he was saying, the way that Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson play against each other, it's great. That stuff is fine. But what's the story? Where is this going? What does any of this mean? It feels like mixed mystery box theater again. That's what it feels like.
We don't care.
Okay, I don't know what any of this has to do with anything.
Why do we? Why we don't care? Why do we care?
Why should I care about anything that's happening?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the problem I feel with Loki, is that it's not. I don't think there's. I know that there's going to be some reveals and there's going to be a story that's going to all make sense once it's like once they get to it. But it's like, okay, we're halfway through the season, and again, I still have to watch episode 3.
It's only 6, so now we're 3 in. We're halfway
so,
done. It's
I still have to see episode 3, but just from hearing the buzz, it's like I don't think that episode 3 is some great episode. It's going to explain everything, So I'm still waiting to see it. I'll probably watch it right after we're done, just to kind of get an idea of what it is. But again, I'm not interested in it. That's the whole thing. I am not compelled to watch this show. I'm not like, oh man, I can't believe I missed it.
Right.
You don't feel like you miss. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. And that's one of the worst things about television, is that you want to just have them get into the next episode, just to the next episode, and to the next episode. If you're just sitting there like, I can wait to binge it when it's all done, then you've messed up. In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with Derek on this. It doesn't feel like a premium product, right? Even though I know, they paid the money for these actors and they're doing a great job. It's not like, they tried to shoot it as, a television, the camera's moving, they're moving, it's not, it feels big enough, right? But it's it's like, okay, but why do we care about this? Right?
Yeah.
You've kind of botched the lead up, even if you liked the first season of Loki, as I did. Right? So many things have happened now. We're like, okay, well, and then again, the Victor Timely showed up in this last episode, and I thought it was a very interesting variant of Kang. And all props to Jonathan Majors as an actor. I'm not gonna put to the side what he may or may not be guilty of, in his personal life. He killed it in this particular role as Victor Timely. But I'm still like, I don't think I care. Right? It's just I'm watching a television show, just like
Right.
I'm watching The Amazing Race. You know what I mean? And I love The Amazing Race, but it's you know what I mean? It should mean more than that.
Like, do
Right.
you care about what's happening, or do you care about what's going on? Like, even with The Amazing Race, you know, at some point in time, you maybe found a favorite. I like this person versus that person. I want this person to win. I'm cheering for this person. I'm rooting for this person. That's the same kind of feeling you should have for the characters in any television show, whether it's a scripted show or whatever. You should have some kind of connection to where I care about what's happening. I can't wait to see how this story unfolds. I'm interested. Just at this point, we're not interested in anything that's happening. I don't know what's going on with this show. Like I said, I still haven't seen episode 3, but I don't know what's going on with Sylvie, and I don't care what's going on with Sylvie. I don't care what's happening with Loki. I just want to see, okay, involve me, get me interested, get me excited about something. Nothing so far in the 2 episodes that I've seen. Nothing so far. So I'll check out episode 3 and I'll see what that is. But yeah, it's just I have a feeling nobody cares because nobody's talking about this. Nobody on social media. I went on, because that was one of the things. I went on to Twitter, X, whatever it's called. I went right after the episode dropped, and I was looking all the way through Friday. Nothing. Nobody's talking about it. And you guys will remember when Ahsoka dropped, at least people were talking about it. People were still interested. They were talking about the show. Nobody's talking about Loki. Nobody. So
seriously. I don't see any videos like when Ahsoka was coming out. I saw videos all over YouTube talking about it, whether it's trashing it, loving it, whatever. There's videos all over the place.
Well, my big 3, I call them, which is Real Rejects, Screen Crush, and Heavy Spoilers. They're big into Loki just because they're huge Loki fans. But on y'all's points, nobody else is talking about it.
Yeah. I literally don't see any other videos being made out of it.
Not a bit. And I'm like, gosh, Amosi, you've got Hiddleston, you've got Owen Wilson, you've got Short Round, you've got really, really great talent. It's a shame, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So listen, we've reached the end of our topics. Oh, I got a couple of start things. I'm gonna go through those. We'll go through housekeeping, and I think unless y'all have anything else to say, we're gonna shut it down. We're almost 3 hours again.
Yeah.
Good gracious, it goes so very fast. So let me clear these super chats. We'll do our housekeeping, and we will get out of here. Okay, good. Let's go back here. Here we go. Toddzilla. Oh, he's still here. He's still here supporting us. Thank you, Toddzilla, for $5. Nick, we were separated at birth. Oh my. Is there something we should know about, Nick? I was just saying, imagine if Trinker, Mahler, and Disparu.
He's good.
Yeah, Disparu got to proofread these writers. That itself would be good TV.
Yeah, because at least they would be able to point out, like, look, this doesn't make sense, or nobody's going to care about this. We're fans. We know. Like they should let somebody that's knowledgeable in that specific IP that's also has experience in writing and storytelling and that sort of stuff.
Yes.
At least get their opinion on it before you dump all this money and actually start filming and stuff. Get the story and the scripts right first, and make sure that they're solid, and make sure that the fans are going to absolutely love them before you put any money into it, any more outside of that.
Yeah, no,
Agreed.
totally with you. I
Yep.
They would
I
save a
agree.
lot of money and they would earn
ton of
way
money.
more.
So Toddzilla had more to say for another $5. Thank you so much, Toddzilla, for supporting the channel. Paul Chado. I like Paul Chado. He's funny. I recently made a video talking about how sci-fi writers used to be actual nerds, like scientists and engineers. The
Right.
new crop don't have that. And by the way,
Yeah.
Robert Meyer Burnett, God bless, also says they don't. These writers, they've never watched sci-fi.
No.
And that seems extreme. And when I first heard him say that, I thought, okay, that's a little bit, that's a little bit shocking. I'm not so sure he's wrong, right? They don't know the territory, right? Maybe they have a prowess in writing, I hope, right? And maybe even they have a prowess in writing television. Let's give them some props. But I don't think they know the subject matter. And why do you hire somebody that doesn't know sci-fi, right? Who doesn't, even if they don't know the franchise necessarily, because I can see benefits to hiring folks for a fresh take that may not be, nerd out on the franchise. But if they don't know sci-fi, I don't get it. I just don't get it personally.
Yeah, that makes sense to me at all. You would think that if you're going to write in a genre like sci-fi, that you know the genre, you're a fan of the genre, you're well versed in, even if you don't know everything. Yeah, the message is more important than the content. They don't care about the content. They care about the message. That's what's important. Yeah, that's new Hollywood, man. That's just new Hollywood. These new guys in Hollywood. I don't understand them. When I was coming up, one of my school teachers was a friend of Ray Bradbury, and he used to have Ray Bradbury.
Wow, Fahrenheit, whatever the number was. Talk about old school.
He used to have Ray Bradbury just coming into the class and just giving us talks and everything, and it was awesome, man. And that's really how I got started into nerd stuff and sci-fi and everything, because I was just blown away. We read his book and we were like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And he used to just come in and talk to us, and we would go and he would give us all kinds of different the talking points about science fiction and the science fiction writing and other people that he knew, and it was just so interesting. And I don't think any of these writers right now would care less about that stuff. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm the guy. You should be listening to me and my takes and my points. And I just think we're missing so much from this era of sci-fi writing and comic book writing and genre writing in general, because these guys are not connected to the genre. They're not connected to the fan base. They're not connected to the original source material. They're just, I don't know who these guys, who are these people? Yeah. Why are you guys in this space? Get out of here. Go find something else to write. That's how I feel about the situation.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back and look at the original Star Trek series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, they had a team of scientists, engineers. Yeah. They had a team of those people to help with the dialogue, the science behind it, all that,
So
none of that.
About the experts, right? Remember, we just talking about hire experts when you got a project. Don't hire the rookie plumber.
I have to put another shout out there just because it's coming. The next season is coming, but Ron Moore, an original OG in the space, and his writers' room is putting another season of For All Mankind.
Right? That's another show we're going to get to on Patreon.
Yes, and you must, and I will. I would love to watch it with you all again. Just revisiting it, but this show, the dialogue, the thought process, because it's a dystopian. There's a lot going on in For All Mankind, from a story perspective. Amazing, right? Ron Moore gets it. Why not Ron Moore in Star Wars? He could do it, right? I mean, just like Tony Gilroy did it, Ron Moore could do it too, right? It's not like they don't exist, and it's not like they don't understand how to make television. It's just that they're not interested.
Right.
Why not? Well, I mean, we know why not at this point, right? So
about the agenda.
Yes, indeed. So listen, my goodness, there's been over 100 people here, as much as 170 people I saw at one point that stuck with us the whole time. So now is the time for us to close the stream down. So let me do the housekeeping at the end, Nick. We have some things to talk about.
Yep.
So 4 things we're going to talk about here in the housekeeping. Number 1, Coach and working on the merch store. He's got some new ideas next week launching. More than just the Star, but he's not taking my Star Wars shirts away because I haven't bought them yet. But there's going to be more things coming.
I told him to keep the forest.
Yes, that's the one I want too.
Yeah,
You and me
yeah.
want the same one.
I told him to keep those. Don't take those ones down.
Yeah.
Because
So
I want
we're-
to get one too.
Yes, sir. So we're expanding the merch store. There'll be more things there. And so anyone who we got a mod, I'll put it here. I'll just I'll put the link. If you have a notion, support the channel here in what's up, Spuck? Just seeing you there in the chat too. Support the channel from a merch perspective. So that's great. That's number 1. Number 2, member streams, right? Remember, we said we're going to do those now. The last
Sunday
of
the month.
of the month. So this coming Sunday,
a week from tomorrow. And every single time you will get me and Coach.
Both of them are going to be there.
Yep. Every single time, last Sunday of the month, you'll get both of us. So that'll free up some of our time. Thursday night chill streams are also going away. I'm gonna look at trying to do Wednesday afternoon stuff with a panel, sort of like what I do on Mr. H Reviews on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Which, if you guys aren't subbed to Mr. H Reviews, go sub to him. You can find me over there on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. But yeah, I'm thinking about swapping that and doing that Wednesday afternoons. I think it would be a good sort of midweek thing for chill stream for everybody here on the channel. So
Dan Grissom wants the black hole. I would buy that shirt. That's great. That's great. So thanks for that, Nick. Okay, the Halloween watch party. So next weekend there will also be the watch party, and we talked about this before, Nick.
Discord.
I think a Discord watch party. Yes, I think we're going to put somewhere going to on the community page. I think we're going to put a poll.
Yeah, let everybody vote.
We got some ideas on what we're going to watch, so we'll put it there. So watch out for that on the community page, and for all of our channel members, Patreon members, look for that watch party coming next weekend, and then One Piece. Right, y'all going to get through One Piece, and you're going to put it on Patreon soon, right?
Yep. We'll get the rest of One Piece out on Patreon this next week.
Yes.
We've gone through 2 episodes. There's only 8. That's 6 episodes left. We'll get those knocked out and get them put on there.
Very awesome. Very awesome.
I would like to thank the DA for making y'all look good.
Oh, come on. Coach is lurking. Coach is lurking. Always lurking. And so we have come to the end of our time. So Derek, I tried to put your link up a few times. Tell our folks what you've got coming up, what's happening with you, all those good things.
Nothing much, just working on new content. Again, I got a video coming out just talking about this whole Star Wars reboot, the idea of rebooting this, and just what Star Wars is in general. Just kind of talking about that. And then I have a couple of things on anime that I'm working on. But that's pretty much it. Just, putting out content, trying to grow the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys out there with Echo Base that have subscribed to me. I see you guys leaving comments. So appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very, very much for your support. It means a lot to me.
Yep. Definitely go sub to Derek, guys. Check out his videos. Smash that like button on his videos. Leave a comment on his videos.
Yeah.
And we're going to help get his channel built up there and be right where we're at. Where actually his channel is actually probably better than our channel. He just
don't say that.
I wouldn't say that, man.
he needs the subs. He does really great content over there. Me and Coach are really impressed by what he's doing over there. So definitely go check him out.
Thank you, guys.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
and Derek, thank you as always for everything you do on this channel. And so I'm gonna pop you all both out. I'm gonna close this down.
All right.
Again, thank you so much for
Thanks,
being
guys.
here, Derek. Thank you, Nick. Well, Hello, I'm still here, and I'm so glad you all are here as well. It's always my pleasure and privilege to be here with you all every Saturday, and so was happy to be able to step in for Coach while he was out with his family. And so I hope everyone is well. And remember, as we always say here, we are, you are Echo Base Network, and watch for that content. So many videos. Watch for those. Watch those and come back and see us next week. We hope you will. Much love. Appreciate it so much. Take care, all.
Coach and Nick from Echo Base Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens.